actually read my notes.
The recording is running now. I haven't transferred yet.
It's been 2 weeks since you guys emerged from the portal from the island. You emerged out into the town of Arhen on the outer skirts, and just outside of your I guess the villa, which was formerly a guild hall of some guild that had previously shut down, that both Regan and Telemon had purchased. Standing outside the villa were roughly like 30 or so goblins, their various accoutrements and belongings, although not a whole lot of them. And I guess Telemon, you emerged along with Sarcasmos and Krios and Padine, and you all looked over and you found Regan dead, face down. It was a very... I don't know exactly how you guys reacted initially, but would you guys have
It was
burned
not as
the
strong
corpse,
as I had thought.
or would you have entombed him? I have a vision that I think maybe there is a small I guess not catacombs, but I guess a small tomb beneath the villa, probably built by its initial owners before it was made into a guild hall. Would you guys have just put him down there?
I would have wanted to, yes, to try to wait until my magics were good enough to resurrect.
Okay. Yeah. Well, how close are you to resurrection?
I think at least another level.
Okay, you definitely wouldn't have time to resurrect him then. You know that the spirit has to be still in the world.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know that at the time.
I think you probably would have been told by Regan by this, though. Oh, okay. I mean, you guys had tried to resurrect somebody. I would have assumed you would know this by now. I don't think you would be operating under the futile hope that you could resurrect him months from now.
Oh, no. I'm saying I don't know when I would be able to attain resurrection.
Okay.
So, next days or so. But
yeah. I think there's definitely a stir in the town, especially due to the appearance of all the goblins. Goblins are not universally hated, but as I said, they're not like these monstrous things, and orcs are not either. But even just judging by your own character reactions, racism is certainly a thing, and goblins are not the most common individual, especially what amounts to a small village of goblins, especially just appearing in their midst. Arhen is, or I guess rather was, sort of a medium-sized town. If I bring up Arhen, I could probably actually better talk about it. I actually have its stats somewhere, although you won't see them. It was at one time a prosperous, wealthy town. It resides. I'll ping it. This is not going to be the exact location, but it's roughly about here. I'll ping it a couple times.
Okay, kind of the center.
Yeah, sort of lower center. It was once kind of a wealthy town. It lies on a crossroads. Most of Arkval's population is in the center and the northern west of Arkval. The south is very lowly populated. The east is lowly populated, and the very northeast is very lowly populated. So there's not a whole lot of traffic coming through here, especially nowadays. And in recent decades, Arnhen's population has kind of leveled out. Its prosperity has gone down a little bit, and it's definitely not what it once was. You can kind of see that it was once, a more prosperous town. But still, there's enough people here to take note of an influx of new goblins and stuff. I think maybe the goblins ended up staying in the guild hall with you guys, at least temporarily. Like, would Sarcasmos probably would have come to you guys and asked, like, so, the people around here are giving us a lot of odd looks. Can I know they're not your clansmen, but can the crew of the Bortran Bay stay here for a while until they figure out what to do? They just kind of appeared here. They don't really know. What was that?
Is that feasible, like size and space wise?
Yeah, I mean, they're goblins. They're much smaller than if it was like 30 humans.
I'm
it would be packed.
I don't know how big the actual building is or anything. So,
think your villa is very much sort of a medieval version of a Roman villa. It lies on the outskirts of town. It's definitely run down. It could house 30 goblins.
Before when I left it, or is that something that's happened?
It was run down. It's partially why you were able to get it so cheaply. It was once the home of like a merchant's guild, probably. No more. And yeah. I mean, you guys have been gone for weeks. And actually, no, you've probably been gone for longer because you made the trip to the central continent for information.
Yeah, I'm trying
and that
to
probably would have taken some time.
D5 we rolled on the way out is like 3 years have passed.
Just because you think that's what it was doesn't mean that's what it was.
I know, but I'm trying to determine if that's what it was.
No, well, you can just ask people what year it is, and it's the year it should be. The thing is, like, you and Regan actually traveled to the central continent. That probably took like a couple weeks. You guys were probably there for a couple weeks, and then it was a couple weeks on the island. So yeah, like the guild hall was run down before you guys got it. 2, you probably didn't actually have time to maintain it really. Like, you were probably planning on building it up. And 3, it's been like a month and a half, maybe 2 months since you actually purchased it. So yeah, like it's definitely run down, dusty everywhere.
Okay, that's
Sarcasmos like ensures like well, they may be able to help spruce up the place or something. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I got them into this predicament. They can, of course, stay here for now.
They don't really have any place to go. None of these goblins have even ever been to Arkball.
I fully understand that. I didn't have a chance to ask you where you were from. We had a bit of a time crunch going on.
So yeah, like during the first week, the goblins are all getting settled in, and you guys are probably like, rooms are getting opened up and dusted out. Some things are getting repaired, and like every time you walk from one room to another, just a veritable gaggle of goblins will just run past your legs. Some of them are children, some of them are not children. They'll still run past you, doing things. They're very hyperactive. And there's just like a flurry of activity in the villa. You lay poor unfortunate Regan to rest in the crypt. I guess that was the word I was looking for, down beneath the villa.
It's hard to get the proper move about a death of a person you know is coming back out of character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's why that's why we're skipping forward. Like, you guys know he's coming back. and you I mean, I guess like you pass the time doing what you think you would do. Um, we're gonna go around,
Oh
and by the
God,
time
I
we
wonder
ask
if
Regan,
I wonder if
Regan will be
I wonder
alive.
if I would examine Regan's book within that 2 week time frame.
Uh, well, the thing is, he'll be alive by the time of the second week. Um, so I guess we'll just start out. Padine, you're back on the mainland. Have you ever been to Arkval before?
I have. This
Um,
is one of the first places on Seldoom that we would have gone through. I don't think we would have stayed here. We would have passed by here on the roads. You said there was a crossroads nearby. So the more populated area to, I guess, the slight north we would have been to.
well, Arkval is the kingdom.
Yeah.
Um,
For Arhen itself, we wouldn't have been in here. We would have passed by it.
yeah. Um, so like you're back in civilization. And I guess like Telemon, I take it you would have extended the option for Padine to stay as long as he wanted, I assume, right?
Certainly, yes. And to the Trios,
So
the barbarian as well.
Padine, what are you doing during this first week that you've been back? Like the thing is, like you were trapped on this island. It was looking a lot like you probably were not going to get off. You saw many people die. You saw Nicodemus die, um, and like even Regan passed just from the escape, apparently.
This town is kind of small now. You said it used to be a
Well,
medium size. It's now shrunk.
it's shrunk a little bit. It's still not village size. It's got a market. It's actually ruled by a baron. Um, but it's like several hundred people. Um, but it was probably on its way to becoming something much more, and then misfortune struck, and it went the other way.
What was the misfortune?
So like you would be trying to figure out
I would
like the
ask the
history
market,
of
yeah.
Arkval. So like
Or the
what?
history of Arnhem.
Or yeah, Arnhem. Um, um, like would you be like spending your time in like the local tavern, or like to find this out, or how would you be like going around? Would you be like kind
Probably
of
go to
relaxing for this first week, like
yeah,
really
for
kind
the
of eating
first
up civilization?
day or two of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the tavern, the market. Um, Eventually, I'd probably go. Does the Baron live in some kind of like a mansion type thing, a villa type thing?
Yeah, he has a very small keep. It's not like a typical like fortified castle. It's definitely more of a mansion esque sort of thing. Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about Arnhen. I actually did most of my preparation last night, coming up with the specifics of Arnhen. So Arnhen lies sort of on the very edge of the main traveled roads. And back during there was I wouldn't call it a golden age, but like back a couple of generations, there was a lot of expansion in Arkfall. There was a war going on with Ashar to the south, and there was a lot of expansion going on towards the south as the border was being built up. And it looked like Arnhen was going to be a big place, and for several reasons, trade stopped coming through, and the town just started becoming less prosperous. Um, roughly like the source of the more recent woes, and you find this out. Um, the former Baron died 5 years ago. Um, and his son Baron Verendis took his place, and he has been extremely reclusive. Um, he he is very isolated. He doesn't take visitors. He's basically not seen in the town. There's a lot of kind of rumors about him. Um, he's rumored to be fairly young, like in his 30s, and that he had inherited from his father, after his father had suffered like some sort of accident on the road, and there's all sorts of rumors about Baron Verendis. Especially given the fact that he is not wed, he is single, and there's like that in and of itself is the cause of a lot of the rumors. But the the town itself is like the only major town in this particular area of the country, and it is responsible for providing um, like soldiers and watchmen for the surrounding villages. And Arnhen already didn't really have a whole lot to begin with. And the biggest problem in Arnhen right now is the fact that even though it has a market and it lies on this crossroads, and it should be seeing a lot of trade, uh, it does not have enough people manning the defenses to really secure the trade routes. Um, they're badly in need of recruits. They're always looking for recruits, but but they're just spread really thin. The man resources for the town guard um, are just spread all over. It's like this is a very wide open section of the country. There are a lot of very small steadings around here, and like 3 or 4 or 5 guard are dispatched from Arnhem to one place, and 3 or 4 or 5 guard are dispatched to another, and they occasionally get rotated. And it's not enough to protect everything, and as a consequence, Arnhem itself is not well protected enough. Like you don't typically see a whole lot of standing watchmen around the town, unfortunately, and it's caused the prosperity to suffer because is the merchants don't feel free to operate here.
Are the merchants on the road afraid of primarily bandits, or is it some
Yeah,
kind of threat?
definitely.
So there's like
Um,
a bandit cartel working in the
well,
area, or
it's not like there's a specific cartel that people know of. It's just bandits. Bandits are a
okay,
thing. Like
so they're not
anybody
organized.
can decide to become a bandit,
Gotcha.
and there's just not enough people to go around. Um, it's definitely well known that the barony of Arnhen does not get as much support from the county as in terms of like military support as it really should. Nobody is really sure why, and yeah, like that's the main reason.
Where is the seat of power for the county?
Well,
What
that's
area?
definitely something I want to go over with you. This is information for everybody, and this is primarily what I wanted to put in the handout, and I'll have this eventually. Um, the kingdom of Arkval is ruled by a king and a total of 15 lords. Uh, Arkval is ruled by King Emedian the First. He is in the 20th year of his reign. You guys don't have to write this down. I'm sure you would not write it down accurately. There's just too much information, um, and some of it just may not be important. Um, he's 42 years old, so he took reign fairly young, and he is overall considered a fair king. Um, he was the youngest of his father's sons, and none of his brothers. unfortunately made it to reign. Arkval is broken up into 2 duchies and 4 counties and 8 baronies. If this seems really complicated at first, it will definitely seem simpler as I describe it. Arkval is broken up into the Duchy of Hadern in the north and the Duchy of Onrieth in the south, and you guys are in the Duchy of Onrieth. So think like if Arkval was split down the middle horizontally, the upper portion of Arkval is Hadern, and the southern portion of Arkval is Onrieth. The Duchy of Hadern is ruled by Duke Vandriskal. He's a little older than King Emedian, but he is one of his staunchest supporters, even though many people claim, I guess not claim, but many people would put him forth as an alternate ruler for the country. The ruler of the Duchy of Onrieth is Duke Andalhan. Up north, there is the County Imvaris and the County Sarvarad. County Imvaris is the only county to not actually be ruled by a count. It's ruled by a viscount named Kesden. The difference is a count, along with all the other lordly titles, are inherited. A viscount is actually bestowed. It cannot be inherited by like a son upon the death of his father. And the reason for that is, you guys will see, Invaris is basically the capital of Arkval. It's an extremely important trade city, and it was basically deemed that it was too important economically for any one family to be in charge of just inheritedly. Yeah, hereditally. And so the king appoints a viscount to manage Invaris. There's the barony of Ruraden, ruled by Baron Namir, and the barony of Bloodsteel, ruled by Baron de Grab. Both of those are in County Invaris. That's like the far northeast county, or I guess the far northwest county.
Okay.
I think I can probably draw. I can see well enough to draw a few very very vague lines here, just to divide up the counties.
So there's 8 total counties.
4.
4. Okay.
4 counties, 8 baronies.
Yeah, you just keep dividing by 2.
They'll be subdivided.
And then the 15 lords, are those like a council at the capital?
It's actually including the king. It's like all of the barons and the counts.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So they are in their lands where they are.
Yeah.
Unless called for some kind of big, huge meeting. Just for scale purposes, from Arhen to the capital city of Invaris there on the map, approximately how long by horse on road would it take?
I haven't really determined it yet, but probably a couple weeks.
Okay.
I'm trying to come up with a scale based on a grid system that you guys can easily use. I'm going to have to resize the map in order to get it proper, though. So the current map we have right now is not going to be final in terms of scale.
Gotcha.
That was one thing I was trying to come up with, but I've not been able to, do that, obviously, due to site issues.
Yeah, it helps to be able to see to do that.
All right, now these are not like factual.
Totally
they may not they may not be final. But like these are kind of the rough counties.
Okay. So this
Those
one
middle
is in
those
Ambaris.
middle two themselves might actually be changed a little bit.
And we're in the far southern one, right about there. Or are
Let
we
me
in
see.
I personally think it would make more sense if they were like slashed, like, oh no, not a square. I want a square. Aesthetic perspective, I think they'd be slashed more like that away.
for the middle two?
Oh yeah, actually that was actually I think how I was intending it last night.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, not final, but fairly we can just kind of treat that for now. County Sarvarad is kind of like the northeastern stuff. Very, yeah, very much mountainous, snowy. County Sarvarad is ruled by Count Gorak. He is an orc. It holds he holds the barony of Starfall, ruled by Baron Sorvis, and also the barony of Tangris, ruled by Baroness Ulva.
Both orcs
down,
as well.
No. Down south, we've got County Cavaris, and that is ruled by Countess Arantis. She is an elf. There is the Barony of Ganloran, ruled by Baron Macharte. The Barony of
the elf has the Lyrian border.
well, she's actually the Countess of like the county, so she doesn't actually rule the Lyrian border. There's the Barony of Sadir, which is ruled by Baroness White Lion. She's a human, but her family is actually from Harn. Like maybe 6 generations ago, they came over to fight for the king of Arkval, and became such a trusted ally that they were given a barony. And now we get to like the most relevant, the county that you guys are in. You are in County Endradark, ruled by Count Vran. The northernmost barony in the county of Endradark is the Barony of Arhen, ruled by Baron Verendis. He is ruled for 5 years. He is supposedly 30. The southernmost barony in all of Arkval, comprised mostly of swamp and a little bit of mountain. Consequently, where you guys had your pre-campaign adventure back during the 3-session marathon, is the Barony of Kelburn, ruled by Baron Brovin. And he is, unfortunately, the farther away from Imvaris, the less political power you have, and so it's a little less true in the case of like Sadir and Ganloran. Like the people in the county of Cavaris are still fairly well respected, but Endradark is kind of like the farthest reaches of the realm, and yeah, like definitely kind of the ass end of nowhere in terms of Arkval.
Seems fair.
So the countess who rules over the baronies that we're in, is that the elvish one?
No.
That's
You are actually ruled by a count named Vran.
Ron. Okay, he's human.
Let me look at my notes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and eventually we'll have a handout of all of this, right? So we don't have to write it down.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
I said, I was going to have a handout, but can't see.
Yeah, I won't blame you for it. I'm just saying, if I don't have to write it down, I won't have to.
Okay, well, let's see. I'd probably spend some time in the tavern, some time in the market. And is there a healer or priest nearby? I'd probably want to do some training or.
Oh yeah, there's most definitely. There's it's not like a fairly an extensively religious city, but there's definitely a temple here where you can receive some.
I'd probably go there early first to ask if there would be anybody there who would be capable of resurrecting somebody, namely Regan, but
Oh,
probably not.
that's definitely not something that normal
Okay,
priests can do.
gotcha.
That's basically
Um,
only things that like heroes can do.
Gotcha. So, I'd ask if they know of anybody in in their area. They'd probably say the capital. That would be my guess.
Um, Let me look at my
Who
notes.
may or may not be there at the time. He might be out adventuring or whatever.
Yeah, they. I think the priestess who's currently there gives you a very sympathetic look, like she's talking to a typical person who's had a family member die, and has said that's very unfortunate. I'm sorry that that one who you've cared for is passed. Unfortunately, we cannot do anything. It is up to the gods. Uh, if you are intent on seeking guidance, perhaps one of the high priests in Embarrass might be able to help. But I must tell you, child, that the death is something we must live with.
Yes. Okay. One other thing I would want to probably try is speak with dead with Regan, because I do have the capability of doing that.
Okay. Um, Let me bring up Speak with Dead.
Okay, nothing for right now, but eventually, just from the way the name looks, I think Telemon should be from Tivanar, assuming that's an appropriate place for him to be from, eventually.
Really? Okay.
Cool.
So
I've
like you
traveled.
The
you
naming,
grew up with
the
grew
naming.
up with elves.
Okay, I said I don't know who lives there or anything, so I had to ask if it was appropriate.
I believe that is like um the only kingdom that's actually technically ruled only by elves. Like the Lyrian Forest is basically not ruled by anyone. Um, it's considered kind of under the protection of the elves. It's almost like a demilitarized zone between Arkval Ishar and Tivanar. Um,
Okay,
uh,
I didn't want to derail you. I'm just saying that
no, but no, it's
I was
totally
gonna
fine.
type it, but you can't read it
I am
now.
totally fine to spew lore. You could definitely be from Tivanar. Like you would be one of the few humans from Tivanar, but it would make sense that you maybe learn magic there. Um, they're not racist there in terms of like we won't let humans in. They might look at you unfortunately, and that you don't live as long as they do, but they they'll let you in. You might get a few like maybe they look at you like you poor child sort of way, like unintentionally condescending. But yeah, that's Tibanar.
Yeah, we will have to discuss this later then.
So
Probably not the session, but
Regan, you've been wandering the Wraithlands for a few centuries now. Um,
Shit.
wow.
Holy
can I get
crap.
can I get a spell roll from you, Padine, as you attempt to speak with dead in the crypt beneath the villa? Okay, all right, yeah, that works.
I will forget the spell after I've used it.
Yep. All right. So, you've been wandering the Wraithlands for a few centuries. There was like a few decades of being chased by nothing but hellhounds. That was very terrifying.
A few
This
decades.
this this
Damn.
last year, you've just been hiding in a shadow beneath like a large tower, attempting to just contemplate the meaning of death. Um,
Hellhounds, besides, I would think being in the Wraithlands for a couple centuries with death having interest in you would be a problem.
yes. Um, so you're there, and you feel like kind of a presence tingling your mind, and um, you're not drawn out of the Wraithlands, but you do feel kind of you do feel like your presence um manifest itself somewhere else at the same time, and you can hear Padine like a familiar voice, like muttering some sort of incantation. You can't see anything. It's very dark, um, and it probably feels damp and dank, and you hear somebody familiar like chanting over you, and Padine asks your 3 questions.
Ooh, this should be interesting.
Let's see here. Speak with dead. I get to ask any 3 questions that I want.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always tricky.
Yeah, I know. I'll ask Master. Is there any way that I can help bring you back through resurrection?
So it gradually occurs to you, Regan, after maybe 2 weeks, that that it's Padine attempting to contact you, and you eventually remember who this is, and you
It's
get
been
that message.
considerably longer, correct? I mean, it's been centuries.
Well, I'm talking about like it takes you 2 weeks to get this message and like and to realize who is talking to you. Time works very differently in the Wraithlands.
Oh, I see. That's hilarious.
So you eventually recognize that it's Padine, and he's asking Master, is there any way that I can revive you? Was that it?
Resurrect him.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to tell him. 1 second, I'm trying to find it out.
You must answer him to the best of your knowledge that you had in life and the knowledge that you have gained in death. And remember that you have not yet communed with your god yet.
That sounds good. I am going to answer as weakly as I can. Definitely, because that's probably pretty echoey for the connection.
Definitely.
I think that almost might even come out almost unintelligible, but you kind of get the message, kind of almost subconsciously. I'd be saying either the tome. I would probably say the Tome of Death.
The Tome of Death. Okay. I will ask my second question before I move on with that. Have you moved on with he who cannot be named?
Your question is, have I moved on with him?
Yeah, like moved on in the afterlife with your god.
Oh, I see what you mean. I think given the connection's bad, my information will be limited. When you finally get an answer, you'll probably hear trapped. Try to keep my answers extremely simple because of the situation.
Okay, that's alarming. And my third question will be, is there any other way that I can aid you?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Out of curiosity, Star, would I know of any way from inside the Wraithlands he can aid me?
I don't think so. Yeah, definitely not. Like, maybe it occurs to you to just pray for me. I think that's like the first thing that occurs to me, so it's probably the first thing that occurs to you.
How many, would I know him in the Wraithlands right now?
Oh, most definitely. You've definitely come across other wandering souls in your centuries of travel.
Yeah, I might say something along. I'm trying to think here what I say. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'll probably end up saying that the Wraithland what was the exact question again? I'm gonna make sure I answer it correctly.
Is there any way that I can aid you?
Probably end up just saying to like Star was mentioning to pray for his help. Then I'll almost sound like I'm probably fading away. Maybe the sound of a hound of hell in the background kind of
Yeah,
echoes through the
yeah.
connection.
At the very end, you hear just like this thing that sends a terror, like a chill down your spine, Padine. It's like a howl, but at the same time, it's totally alien. And with that noise, like the connection is ended.
Okay. I'm gonna do a GM roll to you for spout lore on the Tome of Death.
Okay.
As you prepared Regan's body, it might also matter.
And what do you wish to know?
Number one, what the hell that is, and where the heck it is.
Um.
I think Regan may have mentioned it at some point or another way back in the day. Don't know.
In my lessons with him, maybe.
You know that there is a book that never left Regan's side. Did not have a name. Curiously, he kept it with the book he used, or the book you know to be writings from his order, dedicated to He Who Cannot Be Named. Like you wouldn't necessarily think that there would be another book that he would place as high, but yeah, there was like a black book, old and worn,
The one
that was kept.
That one to look at, or did he want to look at his journal?
Telamon potentially wanted to look at the one that was about his religious order.
Okay,
The Tome of Death, you would probably know, has to be this other book that he kept with him at all times.
Okay, so I'll spend the rest of my week or two or whatever it is perusing that a bit.
Okay.
In my off time, sometimes more time dedicated to it.
All right. Krios, I think I have a feeling what you're doing with civilization, but because it could just be so incredibly interesting, I want to ask you, what are you doing with your first taste of civilization after you've gotten here?
I'd probably be pestering Telemon to go exploring the world, so I can get coin to try and find this woman that they spoke of. Other than that, I'm probably confused and like where is it? What are all these square things?
I think you're probably very, very disconcerted by the fact that there are not trees above you.
I'd probably spend a lot of time
Like
in the
too
edge
much
of the forest
sky.
and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I
too
imagine
much
there's
sky.
like forest near his guild hall or something, or like
Yeah,
at
you
least
guys
the
are on the
cops.
edge of the town. Probably
Sorry.
like half a mile away through the fields and stuff. There's probably like the edge of the forest, but it's pathetically small compared to where you've come from. And
This
like
is
you've
not the
you've come
jungle
across
anymore.
some deer and stuff, and you've just like broken their necks with your hand, and you're like, this is nothing.
That was my food.
Yeah. Like so have you been like spending your time just like getting used to the wilderness
Getting
on the
acquainted to
outside
the area of the wilderness,
and like maybe occasionally wandering through the town and people like staring at you?
Yep, sounds right.
Okay. Yeah, that's hilarious. Do you spend your time like out in the wilderness, or do you come back to the villa to sleep?
I come back to the only people I know.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Um,
So you definitely have like a room here. Although like I said, like the villa is
oh
is
no.
definitely run down.
He sleeps in the woods.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, like the thing is, like the villa's on the outside of town, and there's like
This
there's an
bed.
outer outside to the villa. You could sleep outdoors, like in the interior villa garden or something
He could
if
sleep
you wanted
in the
to.
cellar.
But
It's probably closest to his home before.
Yes,
that's
that would
true.
definitely work.
Sleep
That is
in the
similar to what he
crypt.
knows.
Would you sleep down there?
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah, you
That sounds
sleep in
right.
the crypt. I think that probably scares the shit out of Padine one time. Like you go down there to study the book, and Krios comes out and he's got cobwebs over him,
my
and he's just
gosh.
yawning.
You're not dead too, are you?
I love the idea that Krios is just not bothered by one, scary crypt, two, the dead, and three, he's just got like spider cobwebs all over him, and it just doesn't affect him at all because he sleeps with this kind of shit all the time.
Yep.
All right, that's really fun. Let me, before I forget, I'm gonna be doing something. From now on, I need to grab a pair of physical dice. 1 second, I need to step away from my mic.
Burrow.
Things about to go down. The DM needs his dice. He could, but he wants to use the physical dice anyway. So if we can't see it, there's no reason for him to not actually have the pleasure of rolling physical dice.
All right, I'm back. All right. Last but certainly not least, Telemon.
Hello.
What have you been doing during this week?
I have a list of things I want to do.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Telemon,
for what it's
we
worth,
need to
there's
go
a few
get
things
some
I've-
coin. I have none of this coin you speak of, and everybody wants it.
This is the second character. I just love that Foster is like, what is coin?
Yeah, because Foster's had 3 characters now. Really.
All of them don't know what coins. Well, actually, no, they're
Nico.
right.
One of them was
Quite-
obsessed
yeah.
with coin.
Yeah, but on my list of things to do, number 1, replace my spellbook.
All right.
What that entails is up to you, but
Yeah, I actually thought about this last night. Let me bring up a page in my rulebook. All right, so you're going to need to find, and this is not strictly necessary, but in order to make sure your book does not come apart at the seams at the wrong moment, like you're going to want to buy like a nice quality tome. The most important thing is the ink. You're going to need a special ink in which you can transfer magic into from yourself. Fortunately for you, although Arhen is not thriving, like there is a market here, and you can basically find what you need here. Let me price this for you. All right, so the tome will be 50 coin because you want one that's like to your exacting specifications. You want it of well made parchment of so many pages. You want the binding just how you want it. You want it extra quality, and that sort of thing. The real expense will be the ink.
just, I only have 60 coin.
You only have 60 coin.
Yes.
And
Guess
You know,
who's willing to give you more?
yeah, you have friends, and I think you guys also have items that you have not yet sold.
This is true.
Recall that Regan had a dead body with stuff on it.
Sell all this shit and he comes back.
Sell his mace.
I love
I
that.
I think
I'm hoping Kadeem cares about some of my stuff.
Yeah.
well, I
keep
would
it
imagine
funny.
you guys left the majority of his things on his body and buried it with him, like, you know, respectfully. But maybe you
I
took
would
his
think-
gems and his coins.
Yeah, that seems to be most appropriate. Oh, I can
Also,
finally
you
enchant her the Will of
you never
Kings.
know what precisely on Regan might not be safe to handle. I'm gonna say that the ink will be another 50. I'm looking at a very specific thing on here, a custom item from a blacksmith, and you know, not the same thing, but I'm getting my price from the book. In you know, there's a basis for it. So oh, actually, that's base item plus 50. Let's say. Let me see what a potion costs. It's not gonna be much.
Healing potions
Oh,
are
that's
50 gold.
Yeah, healing potions are 50. But
That's the
doesn't
only
need
potion
to.
I know
All right, so
of
the
for price.
tome. All right, the tome will be a total of 52, because an individual book from a bag of books I think comes down to 2 coins, even though you can't buy them individually. I'm making sure I'm doing this correctly because we're gonna have to. If we ever have to do this in the future, I want to make sure it's done correctly. And I'm going to say this is actually more akin to almost brewing a poison than a potion. We're going to say this is the same cost as golden root. That's 20. So the ink will be 70. So it's going to be 52 plus 70. An expensive, unfortunately, prospect, but hopefully, you know, not one that you're looking to repeat.
Padine offers to cover the difference of whatever you don't have for your spellbook.
Well, that's mighty generous.
It is, because that's looking like 62 coin just for that, and it's not the only thing I intended to buy.
You broke up.
It's looking like 62 coin would be the difference off what I have, and it wasn't the only thing I intended to buy when we got here, but I'll work things out for that, I guess.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt my pocketbook a little bit, but I don't have to buy too much. So I'll give the I'll flood to 62 to you.
Oh, that would be greatly appreciated.
I think that's a wise investment in your future lifespan, giving the mage spellbook.
Now, how do I go about getting spells back into said spellbook?
Yes. So, the thing is, and we covered this before, you normally have to have said spells in order to transcribe them. In order to get spells that you don't have, you're going to have to get the assistance of another wizard, which could potentially cost you. There is something happening here that let's see. I'm trying to phrase this in such a way that is correct and is neither discouraging nor spoiling. Wizards are not very common. If you could find one, and I'm not, my intent is not to make it so that your entire session is spent attempting to find a wizard. If you could find one, you may be able to do a favor for them, or you may be able to just pay them, depending upon the type of wizard you find. You can most definitely at least transcribe the current spells you have. I am also going to say that you can, I guess, learn your new spells. You know what? Without, fuck it. How would you learn your new spells if it would be hard for you to get new spells back into your book? Just go ahead and repopulate your spells.
Okay.
If you were out in the wild, this would be an issue.
Does he get the spells per the levels that
Populated
he missed?
within the limits of making a
I've already
spell
talked
book,
to
right?
them
So
about
like
that.
2 of each level,
Okay.
basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Within the limits of what you would have already had.
That's cool. Yes, very good
Um,
investment.
I'm gonna treat it as like maybe even if there's not a wizard here, somebody in town is able to help you with this somewhat. I'm not gonna do this. Like the main thing is just like if I was to make you do this, then I would then have to make you like find a source for every new spell that you did when you got a level up, and there's no way I'm gonna make you do that. All right, so consider yourself having of a new spell book, although it will have taken you, the process of the week to make it.
Okay. Is there anything about that memory book within that week?
What are you doing with this memory book? I mean, like the thing is, you're not going to just be able to make one roll to resist opening it for the course of a week.
That's what I'm curious about.
I can't see you not being able to open it over the course of a week. I guess if you want to give me one roll, I mean, it'll be for just give me a roll. With wisdom. Okay, yeah. Once again, it's just like curiosity gets the better of you, and you have to see if like you yourself have to be curious if it is filling pages in.
Just out of curiosity,
without you looking.
Did you want the roll you did give me previously, or did you actually want a wisdom roll? The roll
What do
you
you
had me
mean?
do previously is the wisdom roll minus once per time opened.
Yes.
Okay,
Once per time
it's a
opened.
6 then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've opened it twice. The first time and then
Okay.
the second time you paid
Yeah.
me. That's
Yeah.
why I was concerned when I first did
yeah.
it. It was like,
you yourself cannot resist. Like the thing is, you Telemon are like, is it filling up with pages even when I'm not opening it? Like what is it? Like that? You're a wizard. You have to know. You open up the book and you look at the first several pages, and they're like exactly how you remember it. It's the life of Telemon Darius. You start flipping through pages, and it starts like, Telemon, what did you look like as a young man?
as a young man.
Like when you were first, like entering your wizardry school. Like I imagine you were probably in your like late teens or early 20s.
Oh, we can do this the easy way. You know that picture I gave you earlier? We'll just use that.
Oh, okay. Let me try to find that. Unless you can link it again.
I can't find a link very quickly, but I can upload.
I think I have it.
I can upload to my thing really easily.
No, don't worry. I know I have it in my pictures. This is another reason why, if anybody has any sort of like personal pics, definitely upload them to the Dungeon World file share in the future for future reference. Yeah, I found it though.
Yeah, that's probably not exactly what I wanted, but it'll do for now.
Yeah, I think that looks fine. Okay, so yeah, there's a description like of I think maybe your first day at your at the academy in Tivanar. Um, why did you go there? Like, what's like what was the reason? Like, did your parents bring you there? Uh, did you specifically go there to learn magic, like Tivanar, or like
Uh,
why did you go?
I don't think I was born there, but it seems to me the best place to learn magic would be among the magical races themselves.
And did you go by your own accord?
I think so. Yes,
Okay, right. So
the more
and did you
adventurous self than what I currently am.
and like maybe you came into magic sort of later, like learning magic in your like adolescence is not the most common thing. Like would you have been like in your 20s when you were learning, or a little bit earlier, or what?
That seems fair. We'll say like
Okay, all right,
22
yeah.
or
So
23 maybe.
so we get like a description of your typical day in the academy, and I think it's the first time you're ever attempting to learn Fireball, and it utterly just blows up in your face, and you can almost just remember the heat on your face. Um, and then you're reading the passage, and it seems like you don't remember it. It's like oh, that's odd. I don't really remember that happening. Um, you don't think it's correct almost, but then you can't really think of like what's not correct about it. Um, you can't like think of a counter example, and yeah, you look in and you see that there are many more pages filled up. Um, I think like over the course of the week, you find yourself continuously drawn to the book. Um, the others definitely notice this. I think Sarcasmos like occasionally finds you asleep at a desk, like with the book open, um, like you've nodded
It's
off.
worth noting if it would have been a week, I would have enchanted it at the nearest opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, enchanting it gets you the following information. Let me find. Yeah, so you you get the following information. Um, it it is a it is an extremely informative magical book, which which seems to be reading your mind and transcribing it upon its pages. And it seems to be delving almost into your past.
I definitely don't like that I can't remember said past after it
Yes.
transcribes it. High on my list.
Curiously, your enchanting does not come up with any sort of relevant information to that.
Yes. But just
And I have read Enchanter specifically. So yeah, like I think you find it irresistible to keep opening up. Like I think you're maybe trying to figure out what to do with it. Like you would mention that you thought about disenchanting it or burning it, and you don't know what might happen. And like while you're hemming and hawing over it, like you continuously keep opening it up, and you're just like I can't stop. Um, is there anything else you do over the week?
just the fact that I can't stop opening it is more than enough reason. Particularly since I can't remember anything, unless you're going to give me like some out of in character things like you just can't do this. The spell magic and burning that book is high on my priority list.
All right, so that is I'm not going to say you can't do that. Um I am going to get one last roll from you though. Can you describe the scene in which you do this though? Like, I think it's like a week later. Like you've been hemming and hawing over like, will it kill you? Will it erase your memories? Will it like end the effect? Like, are you going mad? Does it have anything to do with the book? Um, and like, will a little girl crawl out of the pages in an attempt to kill you?
Oh, I certainly hope
Um,
not. We're in the wrong genre game if that's true.
You like I think it's like the morning, or maybe early afternoon or something. Like, what do you do? Like, do you come down one morning with the book and decide to burn it in the fireplace, or what? I think Sarcasmos has been attending to you. Well, how do you go about this? Like, I think this is where we're gonna pick up. This is the beginning of our actual session here.
Uh-oh.
I think I would carry it down and decide it's probably the source of my problems. I would go to cast a spell magic on it, which should end any magical effects it does.
Well, I mean, like, describe to me where you are. What,
I'm
like,
probably in what amounts to den or something, where there's probably a large fireplace on the wall of some type.
okay, all right. So yeah, you've come to the den, and yeah, okay. So what is involved with your dispelling magic?
I've previously described it, I think, as like a pulse of energy, almost like a shockwave of some type that I direct toward an object. I believe I described it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably just hold it forth, direct that upon it, and then cast it into the fire, assuming the spell actually casts.
Okay, and you're holding it
Yes.
as like, all right. So you're holding it and you're casting dispel as you're holding it, and then you're gonna throw it into the fire.
Yes.
I think this is like late morning. Krios, would you sleep in, or would you be out
If
hunting?
anything, I'd probably get up early and go hunting.
Okay, would you be out hunting then?
Yep.
All right, so
For
Padine,
breakfast.
I think you walk in, like I think probably out of the kitchen,
Into the den. Okay.
yeah, into the den.
This is 2 weeks later, approximately.
This is yeah,
Or
this
did
is
we break it?
this we're in our second week. We're not going to worry
Okay.
about the time. We're in the second week. And you see the form of Telemon here. I think Telemon, maybe you haven't even gotten your new robes and cloak yet. Like maybe you're just kind of you're in your standard clothing. He's in his recognizable outfit. His big pointy hat and his big flowing robes. His back is turned to you. He's facing the fireplace. 1 second, please. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. He's facing the fireplace. He seems to be holding something, and like I think maybe, you're swallowing the last of your food, whatever you would have been eating for breakfast. I think Sarcasmos is probably walking out of the kitchen with you, and you probably had eaten breakfast together. And before you can finish off and say hello, you realize that he's standing there with a purpose, and he's a little bit stiffer than normal, and it kind of it dawns on you that something's not quite right. You see that there's a book in his hand. He raises his other hand, and he points it at the book, and he says some sort of magical incantation, and you see this purplish wave pulse from his hand, It strikes the book, and then he just collapses to the floor.
Oh no. I'll rush over to him and check on him,
He is most clearly unconscious.
but not dead. Good.
No.
When you say most clearly, it always usually ends in dead, so I was kind of surprised.
No blood coming from him, like from
No.
his nose or ears.
Nope, nope.
Okay. Alrighty, so no visible wounds of any kind. And I'll look at this book. I've probably seen him with it before. What's it titled?
There's no title.
Okay, there's nothing on any of the outside.
Nope.
binding. Okay, I will. Oh shit! I'll open the book to see what he was looking at.
The first page is blank.
Okay. I'll turn to the next page.
The next page is blank.
Okay, so I'll flip through the pages really quickly and thumb through.
Yeah, they're all blank.
So it was an empty book that he tried
Yep.
to cast something on and fainted.
Yes.
Okay. I will. I will take the book and stow it somewhere. But later, I'm just trying to. I'll stay with him. I'll call for.
I guess
who else is here?
like
Krios
next
isn't
next to
here.
you, Sarcasmus is just like, is he alive? Oh!
Yes, he's alive, but unconscious for some reason. Do you know what this book is that he had?
He's been reading it all week. He has not shown it to me. He's been very clear that I should not look into it.
It's empty. How could he be reading it?
I don't know. There was things on it when he was reading it. He just wouldn't let me look at it.
What kind of things were on it? Could you make anything out?
Words?
Now there are no words. That is very curious.
So there is a stirring, like in the, I guess from the cellar door, off to your right.
Okay.
I think you think it's probably Krios. Like maybe he slept in this morning.
Our large friend is finally awake.
The door opens, and Regan emerges, looking a little bit emaciated
Master!
and covered in dust.
You're
Oh,
alive!
man. Oh, I was gonna try something in the afterlife first. Okay, I'm definitely.
We'll cover what you did later.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to kind of stumble my way through the doorway and
Are you alive?
probably start to fall to the ground for a second.
I'll now rush over to him.
So yeah, Regan, you see you're in a weird place. And Telemon's lying on the floor next to Sarcasmos, and Padine, looking a little bit cleanly dressed, like runs over to you.
I think I'm just gonna I'll kind of look at him for a second, but I'm gonna kind of have this really spaced out, wild-eyed look in my face
Yeah.
for a second, and
Like
kind of
this
just.
is
Do you know?
this is almost like
Unintelligibly
another
be able
like
to speak for
waking
a
up from a
moment.
dream that lasted centuries.
Do you know who I am?
I think this Regan's gonna almost be catatonic for just a bit here, anyway.
Nod if you can understand me.
He's almost gonna seem to stare through the floor, like he is completely like he is looked like he's had even better days than
Sarcasmos walks over and he waves his hand in front of you, Regan, and he says, "Is that you, Telemon?"
I think Regan's going to continue to almost be stiff as a board, stare directly into the floor at the moment, and with kind of a wild expression frozen on his face, unchanging for the second.
Okay. I have now somehow believed that maybe Telemon's spirit has gone to Regan's body by means of whatever spell he cast on this book.
Oh
And
God!
he's now
Yeah,
possessed his body somehow. So I'm trying to get
Sarcasmos most definitely believes so too.
Okay. Answer us. Can you understand what we're saying?
Master, are you in there?
Regan's going to continue to just like stare into the floor with that wild expression on his face.
Padine, like, you basically call Regan Master, and Sarcasmos has been calling Telemon Master, and you just both trade this look of horror because you don't know what's going on with either of your masters.
Yes.
And like Sarcasmos just stares at you with like this jaw drop look, and like he doesn't know what to do, and he's just utterly horrified.
You think Telemon has possessed his body?
I don't know. He just like flails around in circles for a few moments.
Do regular dogs exist in this universe?
Oh, most definitely.
Outside, you're going to hear a couple barks of what sounds like a dog chasing something, and then that will cause that'll cause Regan to twist wildly in a almost reflective action and swing his hand. One of his tentacles will bolt out and rip out and actually take a chunk out of the wall in that direction in almost a reflective action, and then he's going to be screaming the entire time. And then after that happens, the tentacle will go back and he's going to go back to look of frozen horror.
With that Wraith Wanderer, did it bring your body back with the apotheosis? Just for clarification.
He still has apotheosis.
Okay, cool. I was wondering because I thought they might have been giving that up to get the other thing, but never mind. I'll try to calm him.
Maybe we should get them both to lie down.
Yes.
Well, Telemon's sort of lying down already. Telemon's body. Telemon. What? But we need to do something.
Looking at Regan, Telemon, can you come with me over here? You're safe now. Come with me.
Regan,
I'm kind of motioning him over to a chair on the side of the den.
Regan's going to slowly kind of move his limbs, and almost look like he's if you let go, he's going to start to fall. It's almost like he's a child trying to relearn how to walk.
It's okay. I know it must be disoriented. The transformation you've made some way. So he comes with me over to the chair.
He'll make his way over to the chair, and
there is a rocking chair next to the fire, and that is where we deposit Regan.
Okay, I turn to Sarcasmus. Quick, fetch me a glass of water.
I'm dropping you a PM in a second, Star, by the way.
Right, okay. And Sarcasmus just scampers off. Like as this is happening, you can see like maybe 6 or 7 goblins, not in the doorways. They're like doing the classic, almost Alvin and the Chipmunk thing, like peering around the door, like the door jam, like several, because this is like the center room. So there's like probably 3 doorways that lead in here, maybe 4. And they're all like just peeking in through different doorways. They're not saying anything, but they're definitely very curious. And yeah, like Sarcasmus comes back a moment later with a glass of water.
Okay, I'll offer it to Telemon/Regan. Say, here, drink this.
Regamon,
yes.
Never.
You find up.
You call him Rigamon, you put me in a Pokeball at the end of it all.
Are you gonna kind of pour the liquid down his throat?
Not really pour it, but kind of help him drink some if he's having problems with it. Withdraw it quickly.
It'll totally just kind of drool off his lip for a second. But every now and then he's gonna start shaking. He's starting to look like almost somebody that's kind of defrosting in a way.
Like Sarcasmus once again just trades a look of horror with you, and then he says, maybe we should get other Telemon up to his room.
Okay, you grab his legs, I'll grab his arms. and we'll take him up there.
Yeah, you guys both like start lifting the old man up to his room.
And as we're kind of bringing him out of the door, I say, Telamon, you stay there. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We'll keep your body safe. We'll continue up the stairs to his room.
All right, so I think we cut to like the following day. Regan, do you emerge from your coma the next day, like still seated in front of the fire?
Yeah, actually, I think it basically when somebody's down there and you guys are just going about your breakfast talking, all of a sudden Regan's just going to let out a horrible, horrible scream that lasts like 30 seconds.
I'll come running in.
All the goblins are just like fleeing as you get to the room, Padine, and you just hear a raspy.
What is
Telamon,
this?
What is wrong?
Is this the work of spirits?
Yeah, I think you probably wander back in, Krios, because this is probably, this has been a
while
while.
later.
You've got like a deer carcass strapped like maybe
Across
hanging
my
over
shoulder
your,
blades.
Yeah, over your shoulder. And you see the old man Regan in the chair.
He was
Oh.
dead. Why
Regan's
is he
going to
walking again?
immediately
Telamon has taken over his body.
Regan's going to start to
Telamon?
twist up, leap up to his feet, and kind of grab Regan, or not grab Regan, grab Kadeen, though he's going to be moving with almost jerky, kind of jerky-ish movements, yet very uncoordinated. And he's going to kind of look him in the face, and it'll be kind of unintelligible at first, but eventually you understand what he's asking is, did you or something about altering time? I think he's inquiring if you've altered time.
No, Telamon, we have not. You've altered your body, though. You're now in Regan's corporeal body.
Regan's gonna try to look around for a second, kind of stumble on into his feet, and still be kind of swaying back and forth, and look back at the Dean, and basically pull the scene from the Terminator where he's screaming what year it or what day or what's the date, basically. What day is it?
Oh, I think it's 640.
Okay.
I knew I
give
had a
him
date
the-
I know
before.
not
the
of
full date.
what you speak. What is this day
The-
and
the
date?
seventh day of whatever calendar.
It is a
month
good
we're
day
in
to crush
of
our
the
enemies.
year. Exactly that. Every day is that day to you, Krios. But it is the 7th day of the month of fill in the blank. I don't want to make up months.
He doesn't
right
know
now.
either. He's like, what? I don't know.
Of the
It
year
is the 7th day of red of 640.
7th day of red of 640. Which reminds me, I need to change my thing on my book.
Regan is going to positively stagger backwards and almost shock at the year, and repeat it to you to almost confirm that he'll ask you, he'll repeat the date and be like, now, and point at the door. Then he'll look at Krios and notice that Krios hasn't aged either as well.
It's the day after you made your transformation. Did you lose some time in this transformation that you cast?
Right now, Regan kind of shakes his head, and would Regan know if you successfully pull off a repair spell? Would you know if would you be aware that the timeline had changed, or would it change your memories along with everything else?
Let me look at repair.
While he's doing this, I'll pull out from beneath my kind of jacket that I wear, my coverall, the book they had. Do you need something with this book anymore? Did you not complete the spell?
Yes, Regan, read the book.
It was blank when I looked at it, but perhaps you've already read it. You can see it yourself.
At the mention of a book, Regan will start to look up to it very slowly.
You would not know if you would retain knowledge or not, because I do not know if you would retain knowledge or not. If you would change the past.
But I think everybody's making bad assumptions right now. Regan will stand up to Padine and he won't. He'll try to kind of waver and he'll just ask, "Are you sure you did not warp reality?" He's finally going to actually be starting to talk a little more like himself. Definitely still kind of spacey and staring through you, though.
How would I warp the reality? You're the one who cast a spell.
So many years. He's just going to sit down. So many years. He's just going to repeat that and kind of look very shell-shocked in the corner for the moment.
Okay, so now I think that Telemon, based on his comments, has both warped time and space somehow, and then
Well,
Regan's
right about now,
Regan
you all
thinks
are like
Tiny did.
staring at Regan like with his head in his hand, maybe
Regamon.
in the rocking chair, and you hear footsteps on the stairs down from the upstairs, and you look over, and you see like kind of like shambling down the stairs, like the stairs end right at the doorway that like right next to the doorway to or one of the doorways to the room. You see this human young man in his I think probably mid-20s, dark hair, dressed in a dark red robe, large dark red hat, like just come walking down the stairs.
Who are you?
Telemon, you are very disoriented, and you have just come downstairs.
Oh, my head. Wait, who are you guys? I imagine that's happening right now. I don't know if it actually is or not.
Your memories are clouded and spinning, but they are not blank. You look over and you think these people are familiar, but you can't quite put a name to the faces.
Do I know you? You seem kind of familiar.
Familiar?
Did I drink a few last night, maybe? The bar? I don't know.
Believe I've ever met you. What is your name?
I am Telemon Dares, and I'll be the greatest wizard ever. I'm
Do
gonna
people
assume-
just call you Tell, though?
Yeah, they call me Tell, though.
Regan's going to look up,
Jaw a little bit.
and now Regan is absolutely convinced Padine is totally must have reached the level to reach repair and then screwed the entire timeline over.
Telemon? Don't recognize?
I
Don't
don't
know us?
I'm assuming I don't, do I?
Again,
This
they
is
look
hard.
familiar.
You,
They look
you
familiar,
haven't told
but
me
you
what
do
I
not
know
know
yet.
their...
But you told me I look like I'm 20-some, so it's like...
Telemon, you are 25. You are as you were at 25. And you have all of your memories from when you were 25, and you seem to have other memories. But the thing is, they're not clear. You can vaguely recall knowing these people, sort of. Like you've met them before. You don't know their names though. It's not coming back to you, but like you get like the sense that you know them.
I think I know you guys, but for the love of me, I can't remember your names.
Does he physically look 25? Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know you.
I would think his voice
Your robes look familiar, though.
Somewhat familiar. I know that as you age,
He
your
definitely
voice
has.
get
He definitely
gravelly, but it
has
sounds
the
familiar.
same. He has the same tenor. He's wearing Telemon's clothes, and he's standing like Telemon
Like
would. Maybe
a
not as
mannerisms,
hunched,
Yeah.
but he has Telemon standing, and he just kind of he reminds you of Telemon.
This is amazing. I do have a bardic lore story that kind of fits into this.
For reference, we're talking
So-
this image now.
Let me see what the image looks like. Aha. Yes, a very younger.
And it consequently has a sword.
Yes. Hmm.
And what looks to be the mantle of Aetherius.
Yeah. Oddly enough. So I guess I'm gonna try to spout lore on this since I do have a bardic lore story that kind of covers a little bit of this.
Bardic lore is different from spout lore. If you have a bardic lore
Yeah.
that might cover this, tell me what sort of bardic lore you think this comes from, maybe.
Okay, the Song of the Archmages, Blentroy Fingrantum. It's mostly strung together the exploits of a number of mages and alchemists who supposedly opened rifts within the planes and time to do battle with strange creatures of the great unknown and past.
Okay.
He was a human wizard from Seldoom, which is the continent we're on.
It's called Keldum, but probably
There we go.
maybe if you're from Harn, they might call it Seldoom there.
Aha. I'll call it Keldum because I'm not from Harn.
Okay.
So I'll do my spout lore with it. I'll do a GM roll again with it. See.
Well, if this is bardic lore, you don't have to roll, remember?
Oh, okay, perfect. So I'm guessing that I would kind of think that somewhat unknowingly that there's been some kind of time warp that has happened to. As an example from this story, but also from others, that there have been many tales of wizards doing weird ass things with time. Nobody knows how, because usually those wizards end up just disappearing and either never appearing again or appearing in times and places that they had no right to appear in again. Generally, messing with time is forbidden. It's like one of the only things that's actually like necromancy, only forbidden in some places. Fucking with time, forbidden pretty much everywhere. Everywhere. Great.
And accidentally, you don't. I think you're aware that there are like some magical creatures that that heroes have come up with that like exist in different times at the same time, and heroes have been pulled in through different ages and stuff. And there are certain items that exist in different times. You don't know precisely what might have happened here, but you definitely know it's within the realm of possibility that either he has been pulled through time or something. But you definitely know that like time fucked up.
Yeah. So now I'm a little bit more under the belief that Telemon the younger is actually Telemon, and that Regan is actually Regan. So now I'm gonna go draw my attention back to Regan and go.
So Regan isn't Telemon?
No, I think it is somehow, and I have no idea how, Regan has become resurrected in some sort of way. I don't have any bardic lore that would cover that. So.
I was going to ask, does Regan have any memory of how he got out of the afterlife at all?
Sorry, I cut out for a second. My USB just got yanked out. I probably missed the last 10 seconds.
Oh, I was asking if Regan would have any memory of his escape from the afterlife and how he got out.
Yeah, so you were being hunted down by Death's minions, as per the norm. As usual, the hideout that you had been hiding out at had been compromised, and you had gone on the run, and somehow, during the course, you were running and you started to fade, and you thought maybe death himself had caught up with you and he was just draining your existence from you, and you woke up in the crypt.
Oh. Out of curiosity, did anything in my PM, was I able to accomplish anything along those goals? I'm just curious. Probably the last part.
Is Trap
possibly
Souls
happen.
a magical ability you possess? I looked
Yes.
through your spells and I didn't see Trap Souls as a wizard ability. Did I just, or is a cleric ability? Did I just miss that?
It's a fifth
Yeah.
level spell.
That's the one that I had
Oh, yeah.
ready from the last session.
Um,
But I went into this place with. I figure if I can't commune, then I was.
can
stuck
you
with
just tell me
sanctified
what you were
guidance and
trying to
Trap
do
Soul.
instead of me reading through this this PM quietly for 5 minutes?
Okay, basically, while I was there, I would be trying to get my magic working day in and day out with something simple like Sanctify or Guidance. And if I could get that to work, I would be trying to see if I could find any kind of gem in the Wraithland to use as like a defensive weapon against the Hellhounds and things.
All right, so the Wraithlands are very desolate. There's like these pillars. Excuse me, I had to cough. There's like these pillars, both floating and not. It's like utterly flat in most places. There's mist. It seems to go on forever. Occasionally the landscape will vary. You can find like all sorts of weird stones and stuff. I think you probably could have found something that could have worked for soul trapping. The main thing though is you definitely would have discovered that your magic did not function always as intended there, and it was the very farthest from reliable. Like sometimes you went to cast it and you just couldn't. It was if like you're tethered to your god, because you get your power from your god, like because your magic, like unlike Telamon, whose magic comes from himself, your magic comes from your god. Only at some times, and I think it would probably be at like the rarer times were you ever actually able to make use of magic. You were able to do it sometimes, but it was rare.
That's good to know. Yeah, I would say it's one thing that if I wasn't being in the process of running from hellhounds and monsters, it would have been all practicing magic all the time, trying to get it to fire up. Yeah, I think that's how I would have spent my time. So I just faded in here, and yeah, so Regan is absolutely convinced that someone has altered the future. Probably someone in this room.
I think
Altered reality.
The future.
yeah, I think about now, Krios. Krios. This is so funny. All these things converging at once. Krios, do you want me to tell you what you saw privately, or would you want me to say this out loud? Like, would there be any chance of you like keeping this to yourself, or would you just go ahead and tell it to everybody else?
I'd probably be so freaked out about it that I would tell him.
Okay, so like I think maybe
Because I've never seen anything like that, right?
yeah, like but maybe you kept it to yourself for a few days because you just like maybe you thought you were going crazy, and now that somebody's saying like something about the future, maybe now you bring it up. When you were traveling through the multidimensional corridors of space and time, Krios accidentally got shot out a little ways into the future. And I think Krios, now that you know who this young Telamon is, the presence of this wizard who looks like him, wielding a sword,
Shaman.
dressed differently, makes sense now. You basically ended up in a scene where and you saw yourself, and you were physically there, so like you appeared on the outside of the scene where you saw yourself, what you now recognize as Telamon, Regan, and this is probably what also confused you because you saw Regan dead when you arrived, and Padine standing in the middle of a street, walking up the street were two figures clad in black robes. They let's see here. I'm making sure to specify or describe this completely accurately because the
telling
details
us
are
it?
important.
Is he telling us this now, or are you telling him this?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I'm
telling
telling you
him this, but he's like the purpose of me telling you this is because he said he would tell you this.
Imagine this in much simpler words.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Walking up the street, and this is like a very desolate street. Like it might even be Arhen. You're not
Walking
entirely
up
sure.
the stone path.
Yeah, but no people in sight. Two completely dark clad figures from head to toe in like these thin black robes, like not even beneath their hoods. It looks like they're maybe covered in linen. Um, are these black clad figures. They have chains over one shoulder, and behind them, like these iron chains kind of clank together, and behind them they are dragging a pair of coffins. And they stop before your group, and there's like this uneasy sort of just quiet, and some words are exchanged between Regan and one of the figures, but you cannot understand them. They're in a language that you've never heard before, and like these black tentacles are kind of like writhing from beneath Regan's robes, and it definitely, you get the sense that like there's going to be a fight here, and one of the black figures goes back and opens up one of these coffins, and from within it this monstrous like dark form starts to arise, and I think the last thing you saw before this vision ended was out of the corner of your eye a third black figure, smaller than the other two, emerged from, I think, like a tree, like very close to you, extremely suddenly, facing you with a like some sort of stiletto dagger. Again, no flesh or anything visible, and you were in the process of turning, and then you were stabbed like in the throat, and like it was a very sudden thing, faster than you could even react. But there was this third figure there, again clad in all black, and that was when you emerged back through the portal. And you have no idea how far in the future this is, but you definitely now recognize that it was the future.
Oh, speaking of the future and the past, did Krios get a chance to pull off his barbarian ability?
At the beginning of the session, the DM asks him a question about his homeland. If he answers, he gets experience.
Oh, does it say beginning? I thought it was just sometime during the session.
It says beginning, I think.
Beginning of each session.
Oh, I was actually just gonna work that in.
Oh,
It
yeah,
doesn't. It doesn't either way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, as long as it
I
happens
just wanted
during
to
the
remind
session,
you,
it
that's
probably
all.
doesn't matter.
Let's wait for this scene to end, and we'll get to that. I was planning on doing that during the session.
Regan's going to. Has Krios shared this vision with everyone yet?
Yeah.
Regan is going to.
It involves you, old man.
While he's telling the story, I will put the book back under my cloak and kind of hide it away for later.
If figures are going to come for us, perhaps we should be ready for them. Or not be here. And I'll kind of look around. If you're going to notice, I'm starting to get a bit of a.
Are they other shamans of your?
Well, you'll definitely notice Regan's getting more of a spring in
Orientation.
his step, almost like he's been instinctively running for quite some time. At the prospect of having to either fight or flight. But he will turn and. Would I believe that they were in fact people from my order, or are they something completely different?
Your people, the people of your order, do not like dress like some villain out of Harry Potter. Like,
Okay,
not,
yeah,
not.
that's what I
You
was.
guys aren't like evil, menacing stormtroopers or
all of
something
us.
like that.
Almost all of us is generally inconspicuously just body collectors. So
Yeah.
that's why I was.
I can actually give you. Well, no, I have an image, but I'll save it for later.
Would I know of any orders that are like this? Can I spout Laura that it has?
Give me a spout lore roll. It's definitely possible.
1 second.
Oh, I so badly want to be specific, but I'm not supposed to on a 9. Dressing like this. Oh man, I don't know that I could tell you anything without giving it away at all.
It's worth noting if you have a book on the subject and you consult it, you get another +1.
Yeah. Do you have Regan?
So it depends if my book's in or not.
Do you have a certain book with you?
I would most definitely have any books that Padine did not have looking at. If he had one of my books looking at, I would not have that book with me.
Padine, have you returned any books to Regan?
I would have put it back down in the tomb, the crypt, after I got done reading it.
Okay.
The Tome of Death.
Okay, Regan, because you specifically have the Tome of Death, I will give you a +1, and that becomes a success. Because you have the Tome of Death, and because you spent some time in the Wraithlands, you most definitely recognize these figures. These are Death's hands.
Oh no.
What would Death's hands want with us?
He's gonna look that over and close the book and just say, "We should depart."
Master, did you make some foul deal with Death to come back?
Regan shakes his head and says that Death wants no dealings. We do not want to meet him here. Any of us. He's gonna look over at Telemon and look back at Padine.
The
and
Great
say that,
Spirit wants you.
We can't leave. Like Sarcasmus is just like staring at you, like we just got here. Is it?
Did we? I don't remember any of this place. How'd I end up here?
It's
You
your
own this
guild.
place, Master.
I do?
Yes.
Well, that's quite surprising.
Regan's getting devotion to the unconscious Telemon and say that we should take both with us.
I'm not unconscious anymore.
No, he's been transformed.
There's two
Oh!
Telemons. I'll be
Regan, do
more
you not
confused.
remember the fact that Telemon is 25?
I thought I thought his unconscious form was down here, and then a young Telemon walked down the stairs.
I was
and
like,
the unconscious form was still
I would
down
have been
here.
a lot more confused. If
Oh
that was the
god,
case.
that scene would be so weird.
That's what I thought happened, just like a young Telemon.
He got
walked down.
cloned.
Yes. There's 2 of them now.
Hell is now his own apprentice.
As an apprentice.
So Telemon, Regan will definitely say that Telemon should accompany us, and perhaps we can find a way.
I still don't know
Has
who any
something
of you
gone
are.
wrong with your head? Like Sarcasmus looks at you. You cannot run from death.
Regan's going to lean down to Sarcasmos, glock his hands around his shoulders, and with the most wild eyes and frazzled hair, will scream at him, "You do not want to fight Death. You want to leave now." And then he's going to.
But we just got here.
But
I haven't had my woman yet.
Didn't he
Master-
just say he didn't know when this was?
Yes.
That dog is going to bark in the background again, and Regan's going to turn around in what looks like a panic and stare in the direction of it for a second, and then.
I think as he does that, or as you do that, Sarcasmos gives everybody like a look, and then just clocks Regan over the back of the head with his staff, and
Now,
like
I may be new on the picture, but I'm of the opinion that if he saw it happen, that means it's kind of going to happen no matter what anyways, right? It's what we deal with the situation then that becomes the
Yes.
problem?
I agree.
Regan,
Were there any trees in this
I'm gonna
image?
fiat this. You just collapse to the floor. I would say you're probably weak from your ordeal, and you're kind of out of it. Sarcasmus just
still
whacks you over the head, unless you want to say otherwise.
Anyways, I don't know
Well,
what.
I still have the -7 hit points that I had when I.
You woke up with 1. I'm gonna say like you get knocked unconscious.
So I still have the -7 max. I'm just curious.
Oh no.
Alrighty.
Anyways,
Okay.
I don't
I
know
am
what's
unconscious.
going on. I've got my
Sarcas-
Elven exam finals tomorrow. I don't know where I am, and who are you people?
Sarcasmus just looks at you, Padine. He's like,
Elven
this place is going crazy.
XM.
We already have enough craziness with that one. And he points to Telemon. We need to
Yes.
get this sorted out. And he is already off the deep end. He should be dead.
Correct. I don't know how this has worked. You grab his legs, I'll grab his arms, and let's take him to the room.
So Krios helps them pick him up.
Alright, so together they lug the body of Regan back up to what I guess we now give Regan a room upstairs.
Yes. So Krios is left with the younger Telemon.
I think Krios just said he helped.
Okay.
Looking at the frail goblin attempting to pick up a
So
body,
tell
I help.
Sarcasmus,
Yeah.
let's say, keep the younger Telemon here. Don't let him go anywhere, please. I'll be right back
Very
down.
well. Don't drop him. He's dead after all, or sort of.
Why is everybody talking about death? What's going on?
You.
You
And,
are
like-
oh, sorry, I'm not there. So.
Sarcasmos like pads over to you, and he says, and like he points like a staff like up at you, and like I think like it gets to the point where like your eyes cross and you have to like move back a bit because it's like almost directly at your nose. And he says, "You are Telemon the Great, Telemon the Red. You may not know it, but you are a powerful wizard.
Really?
Yes. I know not what happened to you, but you are
Well, you aren't the
a
only
powerful
one.
wizard, and I am your apprentice."
Really? That could be most interesting.
Did
For the reference,
Telemon-
has my level changed at all? Should I know that kind of stuff at this point?
You're the same.
Did Telemon bring anything down with him? Does he have like all his gear with him, or did he just come down in his clothes?
He came down with, whatever he would be carrying.
Would you have been carrying your spellbook,
Probably.
even though you don't remember writing it?
I think, like, the thing is, he would have had a spell book by that point in his life. And while he might not recognize the current one, I think it's fair to say that, like, instinctively, he probably would have just, like, felt the weight of it in his
What do you
satchel.
mean? Tomorrow, I've got my final exam. I've got to blow away a whole group of things with this here fireball. See, it's right here in my spell. Where did these come from?
Exactly.
Look here. Where do you think you are?
I'm at the Elven Academy of Tivanar, the greatest school of wizardry in the land.
I'm afraid not. You are in Arhen, in the back ass end of nowhere, in Arkfall.
Where you? It's like be like where you own a guild.
This villa is piece of shit as it is yours. You bought it with the spoils of what did you tell me? You killed some sort of undead dragon.
I seem
Stole
to
its
remember
horn.
something about a sea of gold, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Yes. You were partially buried in it, or was it someone else? I'm not sure. I wasn't there. I was there on the island with you, though. You have to remember the island. Horrid, horrid place.
I do remember some kind of black mark about an island. It's
If
kind of foggy
anything,
though.
you must remember the flies, the dysentery.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure that was quite horrible.
And the T-Rex.
There was a rather large lizard there as well, but it is of no consequence.
Was it the same lizard that was in the Sea of Gold?
No. No.
Okay.
No.
Well, tell you what. I'm gonna sit down here. I'm gonna eat breakfast, and I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on. Is that safe to say?
There's a large deer in the kitchen.
Yeah, there's just like a
The
deer.
whole
It's actually
deer.
bleeding. Like it's probably bled out most of the way on the outdoors, but there's like an occasional tick of blood down from the counter.
Okay, this is first. Okay, I'm obviously Telemon. What are your names?
I am Sarcasmos the Magnificent.
Ah, it is wonderful
Your
to meet you,
apprentice.
Sarcasmos.
That crazy man was Regan. The dead, undead. He's Regan. He is your friend. I think maybe.
I seem to remember something about a Regan. I'll have to think about this some more.
The other one was Padine. He is some sort of bard, and like you see,
Really?
see
I haven't
Sarcasmos'
seen him sing yet.
yeah, like you see Sarcasmos' face kind of squinch up a bit. He's like, I'm not altogether sure about that one. He's a little dubious, to be honest. And the big one was Krios. Although he calls himself Longtooth. Lived on the island for many, many years. Big sword.
Did he ever tell us his name was Krios?
The name has been used often enough to where, like,
It has to.
I know
sometime
we've
or other.
used it a number of
the
times.
thing is, if he wants to be called Longtooth, he needs to change his name from Krios to Longtooth in Roll20.
Oh, I thought he introduced himself as Krios the Longtooth. I thought his mic cut out or something when he said that. Okay, that makes sense.
I think he intended for his name to be Krios, but to tell us all his name was Longtooth. It just got mixed up some along the
Yeah,
line.
it didn't quite go that way. Oh well.
Because I heard your mic was cutting, so I just figured you said Krios the Longtooth. Interesting. Okay.
So I guess about now, Padine and Krios, you come back downstairs after depositing Regan in a spare room.
Do you feel any better, Telemon?
Define better. I felt like I feel sprightly. I don't know. It seems different. I don't remember being so full of energy, but I don't remember why. It's very confusing.
Yeah,
to me
he
at the
seems
moment.
to be like bouncing around on his feet,
You
and he
seem
doesn't
to have
seem to be like
taken a
intentionally
trip
doing
with the
it.
spirits. I remember you as a much older, frail man who did not do much.
Really.
Yes,
I don't know
you
what
were
you're talking about. I've always been like
quite
this, you
older.
know.
No, you were in your 70s.
Really.
Just whatever you do, do not yell fireball. Just don't do it.
Oh
Not
yes,
indoors.
I'm familiar with that. I did that once in a bar. Did I tell you? It was not a good story. I got really drunk.
No, you
What
didn't
is
tell
this
me this story.
bar?
It's that place where you wanted to go to buy the women.
Ah,
Yes.
yes, we need to go there.
Oh,
We're gonna
not
need this-
always. That's not quite the
coin
right establishment
first?
for that.
If so, we shall crush thy enemies and take some coin.
Yes, we will need some coin eventually, Krios. As things
But
have
for
gotten
now,
costly.
we eat, and I go in the kitchen to prepare the deer.
All right. So, I think it's safe to assume that Telemon spends the rest of the day like just trying to acclimate, maybe searching
You can
his
say that again.
journal.
Where the hell is my sword?
Sword. Yet I've never seen you wield a sword before.
See, this is where I get confused.
You had a very big
To my
staff.
knowledge, upon going through the time portal, I now believe I am the
Dick.
reincarnation of the greatest swordmaster ever known, right? So I assume I would have a sword.
It's probably very confusing to you. You don't have the specific memories of it, but you feel as though you should have a sword.
Well, apparently it's been lost of everything else, so I'm going to have to find a new one eventually.
Krios' giant sword leaned against the wall somewhere.
No,
Yeah.
that one's far too big. There's no way it's mine.
Yeah, it also looks like poorly maintained. Okay, so the next day, after Telemon, you kept a journal, I think, right? Like,
That seems fair to say.
you've probably like been perusing your writings and stuff, and you've been like, it's definitely not clear entirely as to what happened, but like, you're like, who is this old man writing in this journal? It kind of sounds like me, but man, he is an old fart. you've probably been catching up a little bit. Getting used to the place. Like, oh, I own this. That's a welcome change. I'm a full wizard. That's odd. I didn't know I could do like this before. Um, Krios settles in, like fixes dinner for everybody, and by fixes it just like roasts a deer that he probably poached on
I
the
probably
Baron's
try
land.
to start a fire in the
I
middle
don't
of the
know.
kitchen.
Roast deer sounds pretty
roast
good
the
to
deer.
me offhand, but
Yeah.
Padine, you're probably the only one keeping the entire house together, like you and Sarcasmos. And then like Regan eventually comes downstairs groggy with like a knot on his head, and I think maybe Regan, for a few minutes, you forget like what happened, um, and like how you got here, and maybe like where you've been for the last couple centuries, and like you just come downstairs and you're not really thinking. It's like in the morning when a person really needs their coffee and they've yet to wake up, and you come down like the next day and you guys just see Regan just go and he's eating for a few minutes, and then like it takes him that long to kind of realize like come fully alive.
see, look, now we've shifted to opposite ends of the time spectrum.
Yep.
I've gotten younger, and Regan feels like he's much older.
Yeah.
That is true.
In the night, I would have stole away to probably the crypt and found some area of it that I could hide the book, bury it away.
What book?
The book that Telamon
Ah,
cast,
okay.
on. So I just gonna.
Telamon, would you ever ask about that? Like, did you?
I'm
Like,
not sure if I even remember about it now.
Well, you wouldn't remember it, but people have told you that you used to be older. Do you ever ask how this happened?
Yeah, that might be a good question.
Sarcasmos would have told you were reading from a book and you did something to it. You cast some sort of spell. Me and Padine saw you do it. So, like, you definitely know that you were doing something, and the book seems to have mysteriously disappeared.
I don't know what was up with that book, but it do seem to be. I remember it being very frustrating of some type, of being very, very perturbed about it for some reason. Has anyone seen it?
I went out hunting, and you were still asleep when I went out, so I don't know.
All right, so yeah, like it's the next day. I think you're all having breakfast together for the first time in a long time. Like you're all alive. You're all vaguely sane, and you're eating together around a table. Like a few goblin children run through. A few goblins run through the kitchen. A female goblin walks through with like a goblet attached to her breast. Little baby goblin. But it's like it's a quiet morning.
Good thing I brought the whole deer back then.
Yeah.
I give them some of what's left
What do
over
you
and
guys?
stuff.
What do you guys do? They're like, you guys can obviously talk. Figure out what you guys want to do together. It seems like you're really low on resources if you're going to be
Yes.
maintaining this place. There's some,
to find a
you know,
steady source of income, or at least a wide source of income from carrying out some kind of thing for someone.
Well, I do seem to remember a sea of gold that is very tempting.
Yes, that does sound like it would get us into the riches fairly quickly. Where might this have been?
I don't remember.
Regan, do you remember?
Regan's going to just look up, and he's going to kind of hold his head, and everything starts to come back to him slowly but surely. He's going to look kind of wild-eyed at you guys again, and then say that I do not know why we're still here. Death is coming. Death is coming.
Regan, we don't know if that is going to be here or wherever we go. Time manipulation.
I don't see what you're talking about, old man. Death comes for everyone eventually. Why would that interfere with our normal lives?
He's going to look up at Fadini and ask, "What has he done?" He's absolutely convinced Fadini's changed the timeline.
I have done nothing, Master. I was surprised.
You have
that
done nothing
come
yet.
back.
You have done nothing yet. Perhaps there was such a great crisis in the future. This was your only hope. I do not blame you at all.
True, but if we ever get to that, then that's if I have that power at my disposal, I will use it. But I mean, I know nothing of that now. What I do know now, though, is that we need to find a source of income. Perhaps the tavern might have some people
Yes.
looking for.
This is the place that we should go for women, yes?
Yes, that too. But we don't have enough coin for the women that you
Ah, yes,
probably
my
want.
strapping friend. It's not the place where you can buy the women. Unfortunately, that's another place entirely, to my knowledge. However, there may be some there that like those strapping fews, eh? Why are you all
Yes.
so silent about it all of a sudden? You
I
look
just
at me
love-
like I'm another person.
You kind of are, Telemon.
I love this.
That is for sure.
This is awesome, man.
The women at the tavern might
See
not
now?
only be swayed by coin. they
This
might
is
be
Star's
swayed
way
by-
of making us think, okay, so how would Tell act at 22? So now I have to decide.
Yeah.
You're 25.
Okay, 25 then. But I have long since decided that Tell was a lot more
Ah, yes.
adventurous person at
Yes.
that age.
Yes, you like the women too.
We'll talk about this later.
Of course, I think we all do.
Then we shall make a pact to get the women.
Well, we
Is
still
this some sort of
need-
blood pact? Sarcasmo says, like as he pokes his nose up from the other end of the table. Like he's obviously not tall enough to really sit here, but he tries.
No, I will certainly drink to us getting the women, but we will need to get the coin to be able to keep ourselves in a lifestyle that would have women around us.
He raises a mug and he says, "To the coin and to women's."
Of course,
As
always
do I,
about the
raise my
coin.
mug.
Everyone
Do-
needs the money.
To the coin. We win. Yep. The gold. Yes, the gold.
Yes, to gold.
Regan, I take it this is the day you're sending off your message to the order.
Yes, it is.
Although
With
it
the
might be a little
appropriate
bit more
changes.
rambling and maybe a little bit more insane than it was before.
Also,
Definitely
I have
a lot about the Racelands.
I have 2 scrolls in my inventory. Anyone seen these before?
I believe those are yours, Master. You found
yes.
them on the island.
You have to
And the
describe
pyramid.
to me how you want to go about using said scrolls, Star.
Out of
Scrolls.
curiosity.
Yes.
Oh, have I had a chance to commune? And what my hit points should they be at now?
You have not yet communed with your deity, interestingly enough, but your hit points
Okay.
are I think fine.
Cool.
Scrolls can be used like a I think basically as is. I'm kind of coming up with the rules on the fly. They're basically an item that if you roll well on them, you do not use up the scroll. If you roll partial on them, the effect goes off and the scroll is used up. If you roll a fail on them, I haven't entirely decided yet. It's the standard. The GM decides according to the situation what happens, but it's understood that the scroll's, going to be used up and something's going to happen. You could also transcribe the spell from the scroll into your spell book. I have not entirely decided on, if you have to do that at level up when you can choose a new spell or not. I don't know that you can just add an infinite number of new scrolls. I'm still working on that. Guaranteed, at least, you can choose from these
It's
when
worth,
you are leveling
letting
up.
you know, if you want to handle it like somewhat like D&D does, D&D does certain levels of spells take so many pages. A spell book has 100 pages.
Mhm.
At which point
Oh.
you would have to buy a new spell book if you wanted more than one.
That might work. until I come up with definitive rules for it, you can basically either, roll your int to use the spell as an item, or you can transcribe it when you level up, and instead of choosing one of your default spells to add to your spellbook, you can add it. I may in the future add like an additional way of adding it, and if we do that, we will probably retroactively let you choose a new spell.
Okay.
So yeah.
Can Enchanter tell me what they do?
Yes, most definitely. And actually,
Anti-magic
I don't.
field sounds pretty straightforward. I'm curious about this ice bolt / freeze or whatever it is.
I actually have that written down. I think I have it written down. Freezing Grasp, level 3 evocation. You reach out and drain the heat from the world around you, dealing 2d4 freezing damage to everything within a 10-foot cone from whatever you touch. There is a chance. Let's see here. No, if you things. The wording is somewhat ambiguous here. I'm gonna have to rework it, but this last part, to summarize, if you actually manage to damage something with the freezing, they are effectively slowed down. So, like, if you did your 2d4 and if they had like magic armor or something that resisted it, the slowdown would not occur.
So touch in a 2d6 or 2d. You say 2d4 damage in a 30-foot cone with slowdown.
10-foot cone.
10-foot cone.
So like if you touched a wall, anything in a 10-foot cone from that touch, or if you touched like the thing is, it doesn't necessarily go through the air. It's a little bit harder to use. But like if you touched a person, it might travel along the ground to a person behind them. So it has to be physical. I was trying to do something a little bit more inventive.
Okay, so we'll call it close area then. That's kind of like what
it
functions like.
It's a touch cone, if you will.
Okay, just curious. Sounds particularly useful for my current path of development.
I will have a definitive definition once I am better able to look at my screen.
Yep, seems fair.
Just some housekeeping type things. When I went to the market, I would have probably bought a couple of things. Should
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
Just kind of mark that up and get prices now, or
it depends. Let me take a look at because the thing is, there are 4 different kinds of settlements in Dungeon World. And each of those have different kinds of abilities and things like that. And Arhen is basically like a living entity.
Is there like a
your
basic
actions
move for finding something you want to buy?
No, because like I'll let me get to the right page and I'll tell you how it works.
supply?
It's an interesting system. Oh yeah, supply. Wait, let me look.
When you go to buy something with gold in hand, if it's something readily available in the settlement you're in, you can buy it at market price. Something special beyond what's usually available here, or non-mundane, roll plus cha.
Yeah, that's
My
the
stuff's
unusual
kinda
sort of
insane.
stuff. How you determine what is normal for your settlement is based on the settlement's different sort of factors. I'm going to that now. If I can find the page. Oh, there we go. But the cool thing is, steadings are like kind of living entities, and it's meant to be affected by your actions. So you guys like doing work in a settlement that would be positive could increase a town's prosperity, stuff like that. If you guys were like a band of thieves, it would decrease a town's prosperity. And those actually, there are interconnecting factors between different steadings that would also affect other nearby towns.
Okay.
So
I don't think what I have to get is too terribly important to the economy.
Yeah, I doubt it. I'm gonna make sure for this first time that I give you accurate numbers. The prosperity of Arhen is moderate. It used to be wealthy, but it is technically moderate now. A moderate prosperity means most mundane items are available, some types of skilled laborers. The difference between that and wealthy means any mundane item can be found for sale. Most kinds of skilled laborers are for sale, but demand is high for their time. Mundane is meaning anything non-magical.
Okay.
Typically,
to
you
get,
cannot buy a magic item just outright.
Gotcha. I want to get arrows.
Most definitely.
And a new set of adventuring gear.
Okay, let me look the prices up. And sometimes we will play this out. This time, probably not. All right, bundle of arrows. That is 3 ammo for 1 coin, which is 1 weight.
Cool. Got it. And then adventuring gear.
Adventuring gear. 5 uses for 1 weight, and that is 20 coin.
Alrighty. That takes care of that.
Excellent. Is there anything else anybody's attempting to buy in our little downtime here?
That decides if I want to sell the Sunfire ring to buy it or not. There are things I want to buy, but I have no more money. On the list of things I want, I need to restock on supplies. I'd like to get adventuring gear, but I might not be able to actually carry it at this point. I also intend to buy a sword.
I will also mention that not only is buying magical items extremely difficult, selling magical items is also an extremely difficult possibility. Like, people have to know their value. They have to have enough money to buy them and stuff like that. There are no prices for magical items in the book.
Also, my mind's
doesn't mean
kind of
it's
fuzzy,
impossible.
but I remember something about a turtle. Can anyone tell me about that?
Alright.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sarcasmos says, "Oh, yes." And, like, he walks you over, and there's basically like a terrarium, I think, in the hallway. It's not very glamorous, but yeah, the blue fronded turtle is in the
Has he
little,
gotten
tiny
any
little
bigger?
terrarium. A little bit,
Okay.
definitely a little bit.
It's not like horse size now or
Oh
something.
God, no.
Okay, good.
But, like, I think officially now in, like, the entrance hall, there's a terrarium with the turtle in it.
I'm curious, who exactly does he pay his rent to, or does he never have to actually see anyone?
Who?
Telemon.
You guys bought this place.
We own it.
So nobody's gonna show up and be like,
somewhere?
Telemon, that was actually something I was going to cover. I think you probably find the deed to the place tucked into it's a page between 2 pages in your journal. And this actually has a name. The Aris Villa, Arris, formerly the Merchants Association of Arhen. That second part is not very important. And I think Regan's money all went to like paying for the trip west and like renting the use of the magical tower and in the library out west.
oh, actually reminds me, where's my wagon and horses? Where have they been maintained?
Horses are gone. The wagon is in the yard. Because nobody was here to maintain the horses. Like, the horses are just gone.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I thought we'd left somebody to feed the horses before we left out.
Maybe, but you guys have been gone for months. They might have been stolen. They probably were.
My bad.
Somebody has very poor taste in horses.
Oh yes, they probably regretted those not 5 miles down the line. In an unmarked ditch somewhere, there's just like a skeletal horse that is like the most poor thing ever. All right, so you guys decide that you want to like kind of keep an ear out for potential job opportunities the next day.
Yes. More than likely going to the tavern to do so.
Yeah.
Thinking it's gonna take the. Okay.
Yo, what were you saying?
I'm gonna take the first opportunity to go back to my room and into commune as soon as possible for
Okay,
many
yeah.
reasons.
This can happen while you're communing.
Okay.
So while at the tavern, you get some word about some other things, and I think like maybe when you're off getting supplies, you catch word of something else. Overall, there's a few things of note. So the word in town. Travelers have been reported missing upon the road to the north. Their disappearances began to be noticed over the last couple weeks, but no one is entirely sure how long this has actually been going on or how many people are actually missing. Some people believe it to be the work of some monstrous creature, as several carts have been found utterly destroyed down to the bits. And most of the few corpses which were found were completely disfigured. Like, I think maybe asking like the bartender, he says like squashed or something like that. Like he didn't see them themselves, but he heard they were flattened. One person says they were pulled from limb. Asking around a bit, you hear that there's technically no official bounty on this, as there are no real leads, and you can't put a bounty on nobody. But it's entirely possible that the merchants of the town may be grateful for making the road north a bit safer. So that's one thing. Another thing, and this is definitely a little bit more recent, because that other thing is definitely kind of a general thing that's been happening, and nobody's really entirely sure how long. A wagon carrying a load of silver ore from the nearby Nandur mine to the southeast was burglarized on the road some 3 nights ago. And again, I'll have all this stuff in a handout in the future. The theft was narrowed down to a specific night during the last day of travel. The guards claimed to have seen nor heard nothing, and that the guards on duty or on shift during the night were not alerted to the chests being emptied. Bandits are suspected, but there is no evidence other than the missing ore. The owner of the ore, an elven silversmith named Lurin Azure Silk, is offering a reward to whoever can find and retrieve it, or at least discover what happened to it. It definitely seems like this in and of itself has caused a little bit of ire for not just this person who purchased the ore, but the mine itself, because they don't get a whole lot of business to Arhen, and like technically, like the people who sold the ore could technically be at fault for like not being able to successfully deliver it. So like there's a few angles to that situation. I think not in the bar, but maybe when you're purchasing supplies, you hear a rumor. There have been dark whispers of rumors, like whispers of rumors of human sacrifices out in the country to the east, near the town of Rurden. Rurden is an out-of-the-way town at the foot of the eastern mountains, left over from an all but forgotten gold rush about a century ago. There is little to go on out there, or there's little reason to go out there, and even less to the village's name. Its population has dwindled to all but nothing since the nearby mine dried up some 100 years ago. There have also been periodic rumors of a new gold find every year, but nothing has ever come of this. Somewhat curiously, the origins of these rumors aren't entirely clear. One last thing that you kind of come across as you're putting your feelers out. There is word that a witch has been found living in the wilds to the south. The witch is rumored to be powerful, as most witches are, but somewhat unusually is also strikingly beautiful. The locals in the village seem to believe that she must be stealing the souls of missing children or travelers upon the road to rejuvenate herself.
Okay. So, for potential adventures, which sounds good to you, Krios? Which do you think would get you greatest coin and women,
Hmm.
and the crushing and destruction of your enemies?
Gold mines have lots of gold, yes.
This is true.
And you can certainly consult everybody with this. Like, Regan may be praying to his deity while you're out there gathering intelligence, but we can say that he's communed, and you guys are all talking about what you want to do.
What thinketh you, now young shaman?
No, I wouldn't call myself a shaman. That's quite different from the magic I propose.
Again, what
usually-
is this magic?
Usually, a magical user as himself would be called a wizard, Krios.
I am a sorcerer. Well, I'm training to become a wizard, Sarcasmo says.
Indeed.
But
We
you
shall
control
continue to
spirits.
do that.
That makes you shaman.
Not so much.
I'm not sure I
spirits
would
as
say
it is energy.
spirits. They're quite different. The energy that we wizards manipulate. The matter of the world and its energies are more in my take. To weave the spells of the universe to one's own will through the manipulation of words and the movement of one's fingers. It's the fine art of the wizard.
And now you can see how the old man emerged. Talkative, already in his youth.
Yes.
But you pray to the spirits, and the spirits grant you the power to do these things.
Perhaps not. Not normally. Some wizards have been known to walk that path, but it is not the normal way things are done.
That is mostly what Regan and I do, is to consult with spirits and the deities.
Anyhow, coin.
Speaking
I
of Regan,
passed the table
what
for a
say
moment.
you, Regan?
We need to get some coin.
And we'll look. Well, I guess if you come up and knock on Regan's room,
You're definitely there at the table, I think. Like, or maybe you guys are all standing around in the living room.
yeah, Regan's going to seem lost in his thoughts when you actually ask him, and he'll glance up, and it seems like his mind has been a million miles away, and he'll say that we should go where we do the most good. I wish to. I do have need of coin, but to help rectify some wrongs, and then I'm going to seem to almost fade back out, looking at the closest window, with a bit of paranoia.
Yes. How much is the reward for the silver that was lost? That could do some good.
1 second, I just got a phone call.
Let's see here. So successfully retrieving the silver, like in its entirety, the merchant has offered a sum of not less than
Sorry, I'm back.
That's right.
Regan will suggest that perhaps,
not less than 400 gold.
Okay.
Regan,
for information about its whereabouts that can be successfully verified, a sum of 50 gold.
Regan's going to suggest perhaps the missing children may be more important than missing silver.
Yeah, that's true too.
Missing children.
So,
Which?
while Regan was down, is it safe to say we probably, I assume we took the emerald, the topaz, and the gold. What happened to that?
Whatever you guys wanted to happen to that.
Oh god. Selling the priceless artifact.
You were dead at the time. I imagine we probably would have bought stuff with them.
Yeah.
They got better!
So, yeah, you were dead. But the thing is, you wouldn't have bought your sword until the next week, right? Like after you were rejuvenated.
Yeah, that seems likely. I assume I haven't spent it.
So probably it was spent on supplies. So I guess
that seems
everybody,
fair to say.
let's mark everybody as having like, at least 5 of 5 rations and just mark it down from there and then give Regan his gold back, and that would probably be sufficient.
Yeah, because I imagine buying all the rations would mean.
And that includes giving, rations back to Regan.
we probably would have spent out of gold first, I imagine, so he probably gets the gems back.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Yeah,
He
the
only
gems.
had 3 coin in his bag.
Yeah.
From what I'm
I didn't
Well,
make
I
that.
guess we would have sold one of the gems. Depends which one was more valuable or which one
I don't
the guy
know that
wanted.
you would say they're priceless. Like, priceless artifacts. They're just gems. They're not
Well,
magical.
yeah, I guess that's true.
It's not like you would trap the soul in them.
I don't see a
That
gem
is
that
true.
I have.
He has a topaz eye and an emerald.
Oh, there's a topaz eye. Okay. On the emerald from Nicodemus. Okay.
So how much
So,
the emeralds was
the-
worth isn't written down there.
The topaz would definitely be a lot less than the emerald. Emeralds are very valuable.
Yeah, the topaz is 50. That's probably more than enough for what we want.
Oh yeah, that definitely would be enough.
So there goes your
However
topaz.
much those rations cost, Regan gets the change.
So
back in
Regan, you
gold.
got your emerald back and some coin and 5 rations.
If you want a sword, my
Cool.
short sword is available in Regan's backpack. If you want.
That's
to have
true.
Which one?
That is true.
That. My short sword.
Oh, I would gladly take a blade.
There
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
Not
you
my
can take
preferred
Nadine's,
type of sword, but we will see. We will make use of it until I can find another. Yes.
I don't know if there's anything special about it to note. I didn't have any notes on it, but I just have Padine's short sword close, and it was Padine's old sword carried for backup. So yeah,
Yes, it was once owned by a great sword master.
Okay, well, now there's a staff laying in my room that's not being carried now. So, the short sword. It was your default short sword, right? So I can just get the stats off your page.
It was just close. That's it.
What's the weight? 1 weight.
Oh, 1.
Yeah.
I'm glad I carried your sword. That's perfect.
Yeah, that is really
It
funny
all
that
works together.
like it almost got thrown away several times and then it actually comes to use. So yeah, back to what you guys were deciding on. What does Telemon think?
Okay, so we had the mine. The merchants had trouble with something that was separate from the smashing of stuff, right?
Yeah, there was, to sum it up,
That
people
was
have been
just-
going missing from the road to the north. And the
was
merchants
smashing.
may the merchants may be grateful for getting that done. But yeah, like people are definitely going missing from the road to the north. A mine to the southeast, like that silver lode, was stolen. There is a gold, like a town, not a gold mine, a town that was formerly situated near like an old, forgotten gold mine. Like it kind of gave out to the east, like fairly far away to the east, where there are rumors of human sacrifice. And there's also been fairly constant rumors over several years that like of the occasional gold strike, even though like nobody has anything to show for this. And then to the south, there are the rumors of this witch who is unusually beautiful, and people think she must be stealing the souls of children or travelers.
Judging by our current situation of gold, I think the merchants and their missing silver load is likely.
Yes, we kill the merchants and take their gold. Yes.
Yeah, that's
No.
I think it's
that's
more
definitely
likely
the only one with an actual like an actual posted reward.
Regan suggests we should look into the witch. Perhaps if she is innocent, she can make an ally. If she is guilty, we should not
Vanquish her.
allow her to continue.
I would agree with you on most days, old one. However, I seem to find myself in charge of a building full of goblins of empty coffers.
Yeah, there's like a little goblet going.
Yes, and these are rumors. They're not something substantial that we can.
Yeah, and the other
Terribly
thing
act
about
on.
the silver load, the silver ore was it was only 3 nights ago. Everything else is kind of vagaries. That one, you guys definitely latched on to the one that has like kind of a finite sort of thing.
I think we should
think
establish
that's
our
the
current
best.
situation first and have some type of running money, as it were, and then we should go off and rescue the maiden, shall we?
I
That's
also
the
love
plan.
I also love how Telemon is now calling Regan the old one. That is beautiful.
That is hilarious.
Right, so I think like you guys are gonna get ready to like maybe I think next session go and like would you talk to this this person who
The
bought the
merchant.
silver? Yeah.
The
So
chief merchant.
I think we'll plan on doing that next session. We definitely have like a solid ideas to like what your first thing is going to be. I guess we'll be ending a little bit early tonight. But before we do,
Seems fair. Much has happened.
like I think before we do, I think you guys are sitting around and you're kind of planning and stuff. There's like a kind of a rapping on the door. Sarcasmos gets up to go answer it, and he comes back, and he's like looking at a piece of paper. It seems to be in like like an envelope. He's got like a quizzical look on his face, and he like pads up to you, Telemon, and he says, "This appears to be for you, Master Telemon."
Oh yes, I will certainly read it. Let's see.
So yes, it is addressed to Telemon the Red in a kind of a flowing, ironically dark red script. It's a kind of a simple envelope. Do you open it?
Indeed.
On the back is it's kind of like a dark red seal. You pop it. I'll note that it's a seal that you, of course, don't recognize because you are Telemon, the 25-year-old. Most respected and prestigious Telemon the Red, it has come to my attention that you have once again journeyed to our humble town of Arhen. Tales of your great deeds and powers have indeed traveled vastly, and recent news of your return to the lands of Keldum from afar, or journeys afar, have excited many an eager mind. The last you were here, your stay was altogether too brief, and there was no opportunity to exchange proper introductions. I also feel as if I have been especially remiss in not ensuring our acquaintance given your previous acquisition of Eris Villa some months back. If it would suit you, at your convenience, please attend Maruven Hall for an evening of fine dining and pleasant company. I can assure you it will not be a night considered wasted. It would be my honor to host one of such expansive veneration and acclaimed valor. Lord Verendus, Baron of Arhen.
He reads this aloud, I'm assuming.
I don't know if I'd read it aloud right away, but it's like, it would appear that the Baron of Arnhen, Lord Arendis, wants my company. I don't believe I
Wow.
know such a person.
He doesn't know too many people from what I've heard. He's rather reclusive. Getting an audience with him would be quite interesting.
Perhaps it would.
Does it say when he wants to meet with you?
It
It
just said
simply
at
says at your convenience.
your convenience. So when we want to, essentially.
And yes, at the bottom of the letter, sort of like a postscript, obviously written by a lackey. It says, "You are free to bring a small amount of retainers."
Ah,
Ah.
oh God, I can only imagine what the barbarian would do at such an event.
The thought had crossed my mind.
I think bringing him news that his merchants.
That
have,
sounds most
seen their
entertaining,
coffers
Star, but I
filled
don't
with
think
silver.
we're gonna do it tonight.
I think that when we go to do this, if we want to hide the fact that Telemon no longer looks like a older Telemon, I'm totally gonna have to fill his hood with darkness. That would be hilarious.
That may be true, old one. However, according to the contents of the of the letter, I have never met this man. Yes, he's merely heard of me. Perhaps my name has thrown worldwide, as it were. My greatest aspirations before my time.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, I know you're enjoying this so much, Star, aren't you?
oh, it's amazing, man.
I'm just
totally
glad.
enjoying it.
I've been telling you for sessions that your karmic comeuppance was coming.
I think it's-
I've been making this younger character for a while now, and it's like, oh well, I guess I could just do it now then, right?
I think bringing him news of his merchants receiving their silver back would be even more welcoming to him. And
Yeah, so we need coin.
Yes,
and
I fully
the
agree.
fact that he has a coin.
Are there?
Krios is like,
Will there
"Coin
be
is made
women
of
at this
silver,
meeting?
right?"
Perhaps there will. They're usually more refined ladies, but
He has no idea what you mean by it. Refined.
perhaps one will come to like you. We never know.
So it sounds
You
like you
certainly
guys
have
are
the
gonna
muscles
go.
for it.
You guys are gonna go on the silver adventure,
Yes.
and then afterwards you will turn that
If we
in and
survive.
take the Baron up on his dining offer.
Sounds like a
Yes.
plan.
Okay, all right. Do you guys think this is going to be a good format going forward, like giving you some adventure hooks and letting you guys decide one, and then
Yep.
you know,
Oh,
figure it out from
I
there?
very much like picking from adventure hooks.
Okay, all right. Yeah, this is definitely what we're gonna do. So, I think this is probably where we'll end for the night. My headache is once again coming back with a vengeance, and I know
Oh,
it's about that time. We've
That's fine,
only
man.
we've only gone 3 hours instead of 4, but this will give me enough time to flesh out the specifics of. I know what goes on with this, but to give us a little bit more to do. Like we don't necessarily like if anybody has any questions. I know Regan probably has some questions. I know Telemon certainly probably has some questions. I'll be here to talk
You
for a
think?
while, but we can officially end the session here after we do some XP. I know there's probably not going to be a whole lot, but like congratulations, you're back in civilization. Some important things have happened. Tomorrow, whom shall be present?
I will be.
Having to play it by ear, but open stuff.
Okay, so if you're not, we will just say that perhaps Regan, and I think this is probably fairly appropriate anyway, maybe Regan found it more pressing to deal with matters involving with his order and getting back in touch with them, and maybe did not go on the initial silver adventure if you are not able to make it tomorrow.
Cool. There's a chance I might be able to, especially if it's only
Certainly
running for like 3-4 hours, and
yeah, it
about the
would
time
be
I might
from
able to
it would
squeeze
be
in.
at most from 7 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern, so 4 hours.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So yeah, I might be able to make it tomorrow. I'll cross my fingers.
But certainly no pressure. And again, like the way this format is, you can see immediately how it would be much easier for some people to just not make it certain sessions. When adventures are supposed to be 1 or 2 sessions long. We'll certainly have some longer adventures depending on your own actions, but like, you know, I think this will be easier to drop in and out.
Oh, also, it was on my list of things to do. It may have been interrupted, but I did intend to like detect magic and enchant anybody's items who wanted to do that.
Oh yes, we can do that before we end if people have things they want to have detected / enchanted. If there is anybody of that nature.
I think the I don't know if we ever did that. Finished doing the was it a bracer or something? A glove? A gauntlet?
That was enchanted, but there was something hidden about it that my knowledge could not tell me, and I certainly
Okay.
probably don't know it now.
Trying it again, you'll get the same result. That like
Okay.
you get advantage on strength and dex rolls, disadvantage on intelligence and wisdom, and that it does something else, but you cannot determine it.
Yikes.
There's like some sort of magical shielding, and it actually prevents you from detecting it from more than like a couple inches away.
Okay, and then probably Krios's thing that he got from the T-Rex is about the only other thing. That I think
So Krios's dagger is not magical.
Yeah, we said that.
But his necklace from his mother actually is. His necklace gives him advantage on any sort of check involving resisting frost or cold. Like if something was to deal you damage using cold.
This could be really good considering the fact my limited clothing potential.
Yeah, and it also just by default makes it so that if you're in a cold climate, you are just a little bit more resistant to cold weather.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, we just wanted to settle that. Like, I was gonna do it, but at the time things changed drastically, so I had to find out about my powers over again first.
And I will definitely try if this damn headache will let up to have like a specific wording for both of the spell scrolls by tomorrow, and I will try to have the handouts finished.
Don't feel pressed for it, Star. Just take your time.
I know it's just something I want to have done, and I know that it's frustrating. It's just because I have it partially finished.
Yep. I'm fairly certain anti-magic field won't come up or raiding for bandits. It might, but I somehow doubt it.
That one is fortunate enough to where, like, no matter the wording, it will be pretty straightforward as to how it's used.
Yeah, it's a globe of some radius that stops magic from working therein. It's just pretty straightforward on its effects. At least that's the typical effect for anti-magic field. Anyway,
all right.
I'll go ahead and stop the recording.
Let me do.
I just want to do
see if we get
first.
XP. Yeah.
One final thing. Tell my people thing.
Yes. I guess I will at the beginning of the session ask you this. I guess that's probably why we were kind of all over the place with this one. Krios. What was the most dangerous? I guess what was the closest to death you ever came on the island?
There was a time where the T-Rex caught me unawares, so to speak. I may or may not have been busy with a woman at the time, but he caught me, and I was badly injured, and I was fighting infection, and I had to go to the
Minotaurs
for help.
We talked about this during character creation that you might have gone to the Minotaur village to trade for like some poultices and herbs.
Which is where I learned what I know of shamans, because I had to be healed by one of them.
Yeah, that's very cool. Damn long tooth, but you got the last laugh. Awesome. All right, yeah. So XP for that. I see that you are most definitely over level 2.
Yeah, I got to take level 2. Yeah. I know.
One thing that should be noted is now that you guys have a house, anytime you guys are just staying here, you automatically level up, and you do not need to use a ration.
Yeah, I'll do that before the next session.
So going through, I apologize that we didn't have any action this session.
Well, that's fine with me. Plenty of stuff happened to me,
Oh, that's
anyways.
But this was like this was kind of like our epilogue for the island episode, and like the
Also-
beginning of the rest of the campaign. Be that as it may, though, Krios, I'm looking at this. I think you did kind of eschew a convention of the civilized world. Like, can you elaborate on that, maybe?
Several things like I chose to live outside.
Yep.
I lit a fire in the kitchen to try and cook a deer that I
Yep.
caught.
You were most definitely going out of your way to make sure that we knew that you were not civilized. So you can mark XP for that.
I'm gonna have to write new bonds for Tel, aren't I? Because his output has definitely changed now.
I'm gonna get to you in a second because Telemon has changed. I have specific things to tell Telemon.
I am not sure that Telemon is puny and foolish anymore. He doesn't
Yeah.
look puny, and he agrees with me in getting the women this time. So maybe.
Telemon is puny and foolish, but amusing to me. The thing is, like, has he really proved that he's not puny and
Not
foolish to
quite.
you?
Not yet, I guess.
But like that one,
he doesn't look as puny.
Definitely keep it in mind that like it is on the verge, maybe just like immediately on the verge. Like it might have been like it might have been really recently that you met him, but like it's on the verge already. I think Regan's ways are probably still strange and confusing to you. Padine has thus far not gotten himself into a whole lot of trouble yet, but I'm sure we're not too far away from that.
Yes.
And yeah, we have not seen the sharing of hunger for glory yet. But again, we'll see. Like maybe Regan's has changed from his time in the Wraithlands.
It might turn into Regan has gone batshit crazy.
Yeah, I find that very likely. So Padine, did you avoid a conflict or diffuse a tense situation? I know I didn't give you guys a whole lot of opportunity to do all this stuff, but if you can give me a little bit of...
That's what I was attempting to do with the book, primarily, so...
Can you give me
burying it.
what you thought that conflict or tense situation like might arise from not burying the book?
I thought about destroying the book, but then I thought that might somehow kill or change, once again, Telemon. So I figured burying it and just doing away with it, hopefully nobody knows where it is, would avoid any conflict with it.
The way I read it is it's definitely more of a personal sort of thing, like avoid a conflict between people, diffuse a tense situation between people. Given that you're level 6, and I've been saying that I'm going to be a little bit more strict with the alignments. I think I'm gonna say I don't think that applies to this.
Okay.
Gotcha. I think it's close, and I commend you on that. But I don't think it follows the letter of the alignment.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I mean, I know we've had times where you got it, and yeah, it's fine. How about your bonds?
I would say my Telemon one with getting him a new spell.
Oh, most definitely. I
fulfilled.
recognized you were doing that. And yeah, you most definitely fulfilled that. You gave up like what, the majority of your money
Yeah, about
to get that done.
It
So,
was like 60 gold or something, I think.
Yeah, that's a big, like, see, that's kind of why I like this. Like, low amounts are high in this game. Like when I say like no less than 400 gold in D&D, that's like a laughable amount. In this game, that's like a sizable amount. A horse is 75 gold in this.
Yeah, in D&D, I have
but
literally
that's-
seen people shift the scale down, like where
Yeah.
like silver is at where gold is at where platinum is, and it goes up like that.
So yeah, like that's definitely a good one to finish.
And then I don't think I need the Telemon is frail anymore because of his change. So I'll be rewriting a new bond for him or putting another bond.
I
in my
will.
next time.
I will say that people can rewrite their Telemon bonds due to his change in personality. You won't get an XP for this one, but I will
Yeah.
let you. I
Well,
will
can
let
only
you
get
change
one
it.
per session.
Yeah,
Anyways.
yeah.
I will admit I made a mistake tonight. I only had one bond active when I started, but I've written 2 now for
It's
next
fine.
session.
Why does it do that? That's weird.
You're putting an enter in there. I don't know why it does that for you guys. Yeah, all you have to do is select it and then hit delete. I know it does that for Victor all the time, and I'm always having to.
Delete. That's weird.
I don't know why it does that
for
for
me
you guys.
constantly. I don't know why. It does
I'm
on my
always having to
PC.
go back in there and fix like extra spaces that Victor's putting in there.
There it worked that time. Okay, interesting.
I'm extra careful to always delete the extra spaces, and they just seem to like pop back.
I figured
sometimes.
out.
It's
I
weird.
figured out those extra spaces in the character templates were coming from a spell list that I copied from Regan's character page, and after I deleted all the blank ones, that all fixed. I don't know why, because when I hit enter, it just ends the line. But I guess you guys are using a different browser. You're using what, Firefox?
Yep.
Yeah. Now
I'm
I was
using Chrome.
I was using Chrome before though.
But you're using Firefox now, and Victor's using
Yeah.
Firefox. I think that's it. When you guys hit enter, it does an enter in the formula, and it doesn't end the line. That has to be it.
Okay.
I think it's a
And
50-50
one
for
other
me.
thing on my character node
Mhm.
is I highlighted
Oh, yeah.
it to change. That
I
to
will
the other
change-
role.
Yep. I will change yours.
Cool.
What did we re-roll yours as?
It was the one
Oh,
where
yeah,
there's
the-
an old ancient thing looking for me. Which
Let
could
me
be
find
hunting or
that.
coming to help me. I don't know.
Let me find that so I don't forget it.
It was a 91 on that.
We're
thing,
still
if that
currently on
helps.
recording, just so you guys know. Because we haven't finished experience yet.
Alrighty. And I think that's it with my character.
All right, there, copied directly from the notepad file in entirety. Okay, on to Regan. I don't think you endangered yourself this session.
Don't think
unless
it either.
you can argue, but like you did have, again, the most marvelous roll that I've ever seen in any of the games we've played, or any of the games that I've seen online. Like that 97, man, that'll never be topped. Is like just the most randomly appropriate roll.
97
That will
pretty,
like change the
pretty fortunate.
campaign.
At least I
Like
didn't roll
to
a
tell
one.
you guys, Victor had asked me, as Regan, like, how could I potentially get into like the afterlife, to interfere with death? And I told him, like, the only thing that could really do it would be a wraith. Short of that, you would have to find some way of leaving a part of yourself in the mortal realm and then dying, in order to take your powers with you. And then he goes and he rolls a 97 and gets wraith, like, as a character class. That's just amazing. I did not see that coming at all.
I am definitely looking forward to this, man. Should be a very.
And there's so
entertaining-
many abilities there, that perfectly mesh with the fact that you're a cleric that focuses on like speaking with the dead and shit. That's just crazy. All right, so your bonds. You've got one with Telemon. I see you've made a new one already. That's pretty interesting.
That's the new one. The only one that actually had active this session was I am converting Fadine to my faith, and I haven't accomplished that yet. So,
Yeah.
my God, I am working on it.
Krios has had an unfortunate life free of education. I will attempt to teach him, perhaps, to culture or reading. That's pretty funny. Teach the savage.
Exactly. Maybe Krios at least can teach him, so he can find the bar and order the food he wants.
So I think this is probably the first session, Tell, where you didn't use magic to directly aid another. I think
the only thing I did was use detect magic, which I don't think counts.
you dispelled.
Yeah,
I think that was like
that was helping
yeah.
myself though, not someone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Let's see here. Your bonds. Yeah, we're gonna rewrite your bonds if you want. And I'll definitely talk with you in depth about Talon in just a minute. As far as end of session, I think we're probably only gonna have one. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
All the stuff about Arkval. Does that count?
Tell has forgotten quite a bit about the
Well,
world that he wants to.
rape
The
stuff for
players, may
Regan.
have learned that, but you said yourself that you have been here before.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
you would not have learned that about Arkfall. But I think you guys learning about the future and then learning about like the
Yeah.
Wraithlands, that counts.
Okay.
So everybody gets 1 XP for that. Unfortunately, no monsters or enemies overcome. Maybe one day we'll have a flashback to Regan's many decades in the Wraithlands and see what happened there. There's a lot of time we can mine for that.
You know, I find it hilarious if the very last session of the campaign is somebody rolling a repair roll. Sends us all the way back into a time loop to this point in time.
I mean, that was what the 100 on the D100 was choose an event that happened. It didn't happen. And did we loot a memorable treasure? Unfortunately not. But again, you guys looted so much memorable treasure on the island that like it was heavily skewed. So yeah, light XP session this time, but man, I'm really glad that we had
sitting at 12 of 13.
I think we had perhaps one of the most brilliant scenes we've ever had. That scene where Regan like walked out of the cellar and Padine was mistaking him for Telamon, and then Telamon young walked down the stairs. I just could not stop laughing at that. And
I can just not
it
see
was
coming out of that acting normal either. So
I'm really glad you guys rolled with that and had a lot of fun
Yeah,
with
that's
it.
funny.
That was I think that was definitely one of our best scenes ever, and I had a whole lot of fun with it. I hope you guys did too. All right, so you can definitely end the recording there. We'll have a session tomorrow and see how that goes.
That'll be it for today. We'll pick it up tomorrow then.